It's time for Twig This Week in Google. Oh, fasten your seatbelts. We're marking this show explicit because we ran out of beeps for Ed Zitron. He's here, the host of the Better Offline podcast and Where's Your Ed.at newsletter. He is a firebrand, and he thinks AI is a bunch of you-know-what. Jeff Jarvis is also here. Paris Martineau, too, will talk about many things, including the OpenAI announcements, why Scarlett Johansson deserves to be butthurt. Well, that didn't come out right. That sounds terrible. Anyway, look, if that offended you, I'm sorry, but you probably don't want to listen to the rest of this show either. This Week in Google is next.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Twig. This Week in Google, episode 769, recorded Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024. Keeping up with the Kevorkians. It's time for Twig this week in general, in giggles, and in Google. All three. Those have all been suggested as the meaning of the acronym. Names. Well, the name is Twig. You decide what that stands for. How about that? That's Paris Martineau. She is of theinformation.com. Hello, Paris.
I am.
We missed you last week. Paris could not, because we did the show on Tuesday, so you couldn't be here.
Yeah, you did this thing of recording the show during business working hours, which kind of is a bummer for those of us with full-time jobs.
But wait a minute. You work Tuesday, but not Wednesday? Yeah. Oh, I guess this is after hours now.
It's 5 p.m., baby.
Okay.
I'm free.
Free at last.
5 p.m. somewhere. She is her own woman now.
That is you're hearing the voice of the Leonard Tao Professor Emeritus for Journalistic Innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of Newmark. Hey,
we
maybe
missed that during the show last week.
If he gave enough money to New York City, they'd rename it Newmark City, you think?
I like that.
Yeah.
Why not give it to Newark and call it Newmark, New Jersey?
Newark.
Oh, that could be really
New
good.
Jersey.
Newmark,
That
New Jersey.
is, my friends, the voice, and you recognize it, of Ed Zitron, who is a PR maven by day and a
Grouch by night.
sharp-tongued blogger.
I'm super positive during the day.
Yeah, actually
That's
sharp-tongued
what people say this about me.
all day long. It's great to see you. BetterOffline.com. Good to have you back. We talked a lot about you and your piece on your Substack, Where's Ed At, about...
It's on Ghost now.
At?
Sorry?
It's on Ghost.
Oh,
It's on
you
Ghost
moved
now.
over. You moved over.
Good
I moved
for
in
Ed.
January.
Good for Ed.
You got away from the Nazis, huh?
Now I'm working with Ryan Single over at Outpost, who's been amazing, and he moved me to Ghost. Yeah, it's so good.
I think Ghost is a pretty good-looking platform. I was looking at it for my own thing, but then I realized in order to have a newsletter, you actually have to write. And,
yes, that is. It's actually a problem many writers run into every day.
I hate writing.
Genuinely, I have people, which is terrifying. Well, like, can I get some advice from you? I'm like, okay. And they're like, how do I grow an audience? I'm like, do you write regularly? And they're like, well,
no. Your piece last month, The Man Who Killed Google Search. It's been a month now.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful piece about Prabhakar, what's his name?
Right, Mr. Raghavan.
Mr. Raghavan to his friends. He, of course, is the man who killed Google Search because he had prior to that killed Yahoo Search, and he wanted new worlds to conquer. Like Alexander, he said, where else can I go? And he came to Google. Was officially more in charge of revenue than search until, as you pointed out, they had a code yellow for search revenue, and they decided, we could make more money if we just screwed with search.
Yeah, what if this sucks? We thought about that.
Yeah.
And yeah, he did it. What's great about that story as well is that they responded. They sent a response to Barry over at Search Engine Journal, I think it is. And it was great because their response was, well, actually, this isn't right. And here are some examples from cross-examination from the Department of Justice. If you have to respond to criticism by being like, here is when the Department of Justice was dressing us down.
Maybe you heard us at the trial.
What was great though was they literally said something. They had a quote from Jerry Dishler about how ads never gets involved with search. So I actually had an email saved for that very eventuality, which I then posted, where Jerry Dishler said, I don't want people to think that ads is getting involved in search, but it was also revealed in the Department of Justice trial. I'm a little bastard. I saved these things. You got to have a trump card. You know that these people are always going to respond.
And I got to ask you a question, a professional question.
Sure.
By day, you have a PR company. By night, you skewer hypocrisy and idiocy.
Mm-hmm.
Do your PR clients say, how do we avoid you? That people like you at night?
So generally, the clients are really happy with it because mostly like seed to Series C startups. And they're all pretty big fans of the fact that I'm just talking about how big tech has turned against technology. These big tech companies aren't building cool stuff anymore. They're not building things that make people happy. They're not even building particularly good businesses, or at least in Google's case, they print money, but search is so bad now. But also, even potential clients will come to me and they say, yes, thank you, because and these founders like in their 20s and 30s, I'm approaching 40 now, I'm getting on in my years. And most of them are like,
you're baby
Thanks. Now you're on this side of the podcast, Ed. You're on the
I
youth
forgot.
side.
It's not just This Week in General, This Week in Giggles, This Week in Google. It's also This Week in Grandpas. Thank you.
Geriatrics.
Geriatrics, reminding me.
But it's just,
sorry, continue.
There is a frustration in the Valley, I think, with the way that big tech's acting.
Well, I like that your honesty is a calling card. That's great.
Also, I'm pitching journalists all day. Surely I want to be on the right side of history. Like I do it because I can't stop. I much like Tom Sawyer, I can't help but feud. I can't calm the demon. But
got a posters rage.
The posters rage, posters fugue. But also, if I want journalists to respect me, good idea to just write. And also reading a bunch of journalism and writing about stuff in the news means I'm pretty well read on what's a good angle. It just works. To be clear, zero plans, zero strategy, did not plan anything, never planned ever, never will. Except for the podcast, I actually have to plan for that because otherwise...
So let me ask you one more question. Have you ever had to fire a client for being a dork?
Yes.
Oh,
well, depend.
Well, I was trying to use a general word for being idiotic, wrong.
Not in a while. It's been many, many years. I've had a few that have been genuinely abusive, and I've said, well, there's a clause in your contract for that, and they're out the door. But there have been ones where their product did not do, and it's been a long time, where the product didn't do what they said, and I was shown demos, and I was just like, I can't. I'm wash my hands of this. And there are clauses in the contracts about stuff like that as well, because I don't know, again, if I'm pitching journalists and the journalist gets something that doesn't work or is wrong, I look like the asshole.
Yeah.
And also, I don't want to be associated with bastards other than myself.
Well, in my first book, What Would Google Do? I talked to an ad guy and said that the relationship switches where you become more the voice of the public to the company versus the old voice of the company to the public.
Right.
And if the company's screwing up, you're the one who's going to tell them, you might not want to use Scarlett Johansson's voice.
I love that so much. Sam Altman is a criminal genius. Just like tweeting out the word her for no reason other than being like, everyone's going to love this. They're going to love it when I tweet this. And then the idea that he'd 2 days before that reached out to her and been like, would you reconsider? But also Katie Natopoulos of Business Insider, she reached out to me with an interesting thing. So they asked Scarlett Johansson twice. They asked her in September of last year, which was during the strike. They tried to make her cross the picket line.
Whoa.
Nasty stuff.
That's an interesting angle, yeah.
Yeah, that's all Katie there. But it's just wild. Like, and I'm actually really shocked with this GPT-4o thing because it's such an insane misstep and also at such a bad time because you had Jan Leakey and Ilya Sutskever leaving in the last week as well. You've already got a bunch of bad press, but why make such an obvious one? And they still haven't commented. As a PR person, I imagine they're talking to their lawyers as well, but it's like you can't say anything. You can go on.
I think they have a great defense.
Podcasts.
I think they have a great defense. I don't think it is Scarlett Johansson's voice. They say it's an actress's voice. They've yet to produce her. Listen to, I think it sounds more like Rashida.
But Leo,
wait a minute. let me finish.
Okay.
I think it sounds
All right,
more
fine.
like this woman.
What? I did
Rashida
not know who I
Jones,
was.
ladies and gentlemen.
Me and Terrell Jackson, who's Tito Jackson's son. And then in the picture, we're like, have like a wad of cash, like every 90s, like wad of cash.
Do you not think that that's exactly the voice that they were using? If I were Sam Altman, I'd produce Rashida Jones. Actually, I'd first give her a check for $100 million. Then I'd produce Rashida Jones and said, wait a minute, that wasn't Scarlett Johansson. That was Rashida Jones. The problem is voices sound alike. There are people whose voice sound exactly like mine. I've had people say, hey, I just heard you on KCBS. I said, no, that's the other guy who sounds just like me. I don't think that they have a case.
I do think that's an interesting aspect of this.
But Sam is smart. I'd completely disagree with you. I'm very excited by 4.0. But Sam is smart because everybody loves Scarlett Johansson. So it's a no-win battle to say, well, honestly, it sounds like her, but it also sounds like Rashida Jones. It sounds like a lot of people. It's a very good voice for an AI, but it's not her. There is a defense. I don't think actually that Scarlett Johansson would win in court.
So, I think she would because
it
of the
would
Bette
be an
Midler
issue.
case.
I know there is the Bette Midler and Tom Waits cases. You have a right of publicity for your voice. We've talked about this before. But you have to prove that they were copying her voice. And do you not think that Rashida Jones is exactly the same voice that OpenAI was using? It is.
You're
it's the
not
same
wrong.
Voice.
You're not wrong, Leo, unless they hadn't emailed her or posted the word.
So
her.
here's what I say in court, Your Honor. Your Honor, we, out of courtesy, because we really love Scarlett Johansson and her work, we wanted to let her know we were going to do this. We even offered to compensate her because we understand, she did her, and to many people, she represents the voice of AI. But, Your Honor, you can't trademark this voice is not her voice. We used an actress. It could have been Rashida Jones. It could have been a dozen other women. So it isn't. It's not an attempt to fool people that this is Scarlett Johansson. And so the accidental similarity to her voice, we noticed it too. That's why we went to her and said, "Hey, we'd like to compensate you for this."
If I get arrested,
had they not gone to her
Leo.
twice?
Twice. They were trying to be nice.
Twice.
They're trying to give her the
They were trying
chance.
to hire her to do
Once
this.
2 days before. Leo, play the 4.0 demo with all the laughing and applause. Can you find that quickly?
Yeah. Well, why?
I do think, Leo, it's a bit of a smoking gun, the fact that they developed this voice that sounds almost exactly like her, and during the whole time we're trying to get her buy-in for that. I think said her, and then again checked in with her 2 days before it all went out. I think obviously the thing they'll have to bear out in court if it gets to that is whether or not they actually used her voice or not.
Well, that's my point, is they didn't need to use her voice, and her voice isn't particularly unique. Tom Waits' voice is pretty unique. Bette Midler, I guess, maybe. But her voice is not unique, and I've just given you an exact example. Here's the ChatGPT. This is the CNET edit, so it's only 60 seconds long.
Today, we are releasing our newest flagship model. This is GPT-4.
Okay, Mira, we're going to skip ahead. She does not sound like Scarlett Johansson.
Envision.
So my friend Barrett here, he's been having trouble sleeping lately. And I want you to tell him a bedtime story about robots and love.
Once upon a time, there was a robot named Byte.
Can you do this in a robotic voice now?
Initiating dramatic robot. Perfectly ever.
Click, and then I'd like you to try to...
So what's your point? You think that sounds so much like Scarlett Johansson?
It does not sound like Rashida Jones.
It does not sound like Rashida Jones.
Doesn't sound like Scarlett Johansson either, honestly. Although I will point out that 6 months ago when I started using ChatGPT's voice, that I said that Sky voice sounds exactly like Scarlett Johansson, and I love it. I want it to sound like Scarlett Johansson. I don't actually like their...
You're going to get called
movie
as a witness.
I'll go as a witness. I mean, you have a right of publicity to your voice, but that's just going to be a tough row to hoe unless they can prove that they actually stole the voice. You can't sue Rich Little for doing Dick Nixon. You can't. I mean, it's not.
I think it's that they were using they're going to try and argue that the association with her, both the movie and the person, is what they were doing.
Yeah,
and he said it's his favorite movie.
Right. That was a strategic mistake on his part. Yes.
Had he just reached out 2 days beforehand and said, "Hey, we'd love to get your buy-in here because this might sound a bit like you," that's one thing. But the fact he reached out in September as well and has repeatedly said he loves this movie, it's kind of easy to see, even if it's just similar and not identical. It is the fact he tweeted it, which is just insane.
Yeah, that was
just
a dumb
on
move.
every. If a client
I'll
of mine
grant you
did
that.
this, and I would not work with Sam Altman, I think he's a scumbag. I think that I would have to fire them. Like this is the kind of legal nonsense. This is the kind of very underhanded stuff that really nasty companies do. And I think OpenAI, instead of losing two of the most technical and good people at the company, should lose Sam Altman. They should fire his ass. They should have fired him in November.
They
They
tried.
lost two of the most fanatic doomsters at the company.
Yes, but they're more qualified than Sam bloody Altman.
Well, that's a point. They're also
they're the alignment people.
Scary.
I'd rather have more people at the company who care about safety than less.
No. It's not safety. That's what media have bought.
Are they
have bought
Rocco's
that word.
basilisk people?
It's X-Risk Doomer Tescriel BS. And
Still,
so
I prefer him to Altman, though.
well, they're all in the cult, right? They're all of OpenAI is in the AGI cult, including Leo now. They're all believe in that stuff. But the super alignment safety people saving humanity from doom and destruction are more fanatical members of the cult. And so to me, they're even scarier. They're all scary, but they're even scarier.
Well, the thing that doesn't scare me is generative AI is not going to become AGI. I don't think they're going to build
Amen,
it.
brother.
I don't think they're going to build it. They're going to build slightly smarter autocorrect until it runs out of money.
Yes, I
Sorry,
agree there.
Leo. Oh, my cat's joining us.
Hello, cat.
Well,
What's
I think
the
it's
name,
smarter than your
Ed?
cat. I'll say that.
Actually, no, I don't think it's smarter than the
I
cat,
think it
which is
is.
what Jan LeCun,
And I use
Jan
it all the
LeCun has
time.
been saying
And I
just
think
now.
Smarter is the wrong word, Leo, because
Yeah, 'cause
that
they're
cat
not
has
smart.
logic. That cat
Yeah.
can figure out where food is and go through a little puzzle and remember things.
Be manipulative.
Yeah, that cat has emotions. ChatGPT does not. It
That
is
cat has
simply
Ed
synthesizing.
wrapped around its little paw.
Yeah.
Just look at that.
He's beautiful. He's
I hope
beautiful
that
and
cats that look like
dramatic like
tigers
me.
come by, Ed, because those cats are
Oh,
wild.
well, Babu's in another room, sadly. And also,
That's
he would
devastating.
destroy my
you have a
entire
tiger
computer.
cat? I love those. They're
I have
pretty.
two Bengals. I'll send you pictures.
They're so beautiful.
Like,
Yeah.
they're the sweetest cats. But it's funny because it's such a strange thing to have done, because all they could have done is said, okay, we've gone to Scarlett Johansson and she said no. They could have announced this and said, we tried in good faith, and then used another voice as a means, basic PR strategy. You say, hey, we tried and they said no, and we respect her. And we had a voice that kind of sounded like her that we didn't use because the media right now is incapable of criticizing OpenAI, it seems, in many places. So I think they would have eaten that up. Instead, it's just this massive bag fumble. I mean, really bad week for it on top of it, but also just an insanely silly and stupid and nasty thing to do. I realized that, Scarlett Johansson's rich and all that, but this is what OpenAI is already doing to millions of creators anyway. They've already swallowed half the goddamn, or all of the internet. Why? I hope she sues just so that there's something to fight back with. There's something so that they're more scared to not steal. I mean,
I honestly think they don't care. I mean, I
don't think they do either.
Yeah, I think really the reason that they're not doing the right thing with PR is they don't really care. They know they can't lose, so they don't care. Which is a scary position. I mean, that is a scary thing. When people don't care, they're dangerous. But I don't honestly think that they feel like it doesn't harm them. It's de minimis in their overall strategy. And they tried, and they stopped. They've so-called paused it. I noticed the voice is still in ChatGPT, but I can't get it to use it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know what their long-term plan is. They may just say, "Well, let's wait till this blows over, and then we'll use it." Let me play it for people who, for unaccountable reasons, don't yet know what we're talking about here. This is the voices that you can choose from in ChatGPT are Ember Cove. Oh, they have taken it out now. Juniper and Breeze. Sky is gone. So it was there until yesterday. So I guess they've decided pause permanently. Yeah. None of these are as good, by the way. I just don't think I wanted Scarlett Johansson.
You'd like me to focus on first? Just
mate, don't we all?
Hi there. I just want to share how thrilled I am to work with you.
Yeah, screw you.
Hey there. I've got a really great feeling about us teaming up.
I don't like her.
Hey, it's great to meet you. How's your day going?
I don't care. So I think mostly I'm sad because I like the Scarlett Johansson voice because I wanted ScarJo in my phone.
Leo, how often on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis are you talking to one of the voices in ChatGPT? Like,
well,
what?
Okay, so that's the other really interesting thing that is also, I think, a PR fumble, Ed. But they keep focusing on art, music, chat, the three kind of least interesting uses of AI, as far as I'm concerned. They're parlor tricks. They're fun, but they're like, you don't chat with ChatGPT for very long before you realize it's kind of vacuous and get tired of it.
Right.
Same thing with the art generation. Yeah, that's nice. It's amazing and can do it. But none of these, and music too, but none of these really are important to their long-term mission. They're more to get people's attention. So I think they could reasonably say, okay, fine, we won't do it anymore. And still eat the internet and still go for whatever the AGI means to them.
Well, I have another theory I've written about a few times, which is, what's the point of all this crap?
Yeah.
I know you use it for stuff, but if I was doing PR for OpenAI, I would be trying to share use cases.
Useful use cases, yes.
If I had them.
Well, you do have them. I use it all the time. It's very useful.
What for?
So Copilot is really useful on GitHub. I don't actually use that because I use a silly programming language called Common Lisp. So I wrote my own GPT for Common Lisp. It's phenomenally useful. It's a reference work. I think the real use for most people of AI will be something akin to what Microsoft announced yesterday, which is this Recal project, which is in effect, remember everything I do, ingest everything Ed's written, and then let me query it. That's hugely,
very sorry, Leo.
Useful.
Just really wanted to be specific. What I said was, what can it do? Not will.
No, I do that right now. You want to see it?
I do
it right now.
I do think that Leo
what are you talking
has
about?
two interesting
I actually do it right now.
You said it will use Recall. Like, what do you use it for?
No, Recall is available. All right, I'll show you. Here's my Common Lisp AI that I added.
You built that. That's awesome. I'm talking about ChatGPT.
This is ChatGPT.
This is ChatGPT.
I'm sorry, Ed, but you're ignorant. This is ChatGPT's LLM. No, you are. You're ignorant. You're expressing your ignorance here. This is ChatGPT's LLM with additional content provided by me from the open source libraries of Lisp, and it provides an incredibly useful resource to query instead of me going to a 7-foot shelf and trying to refer to stuff. It can already do this. This is RAG. We've talked about it a lot, retrieval augmented generation. There are many systems you can use besides GPT to do this locally with your own LLMs, whether it's from Facebook's Llama or Mistral. They work. People are using them today. They're very, very useful. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, my problem is that for the average person, what is the general, to be clear, people use Copilot. They do work with companies that talk about this.
It's vastly useful. Yes.
It
for
is
business
useful.
Intelligence. Have you ever heard of business intelligence?
My man, I've represented those companies. Let me tell you about the hallucination problems that are stopping those companies being able to sell into the enterprise.
Well, this is my point. You don't have hallucination when you tell the GPT, you stick to the corpus I've given you. BI is revolutionized, and probably those companies you represented.
That's not remotely true, Leo.
No, it's absolutely true.
There are multiple financial GPT tools that cannot sell into major financial institutions because they are not able to reliably get rid of hallucinations. Because even when they source things, even when they deeply source things, they still have these hallucinations. And you may think, and even getting up to that, you would never get higher than 50%? I don't even know. But even if you had 90%, that 10% is what has the SEC break down your door and kill your dog. And it's ultimately, you can say all this, go back and forth about this, but also it's deeply unprofitable. You do, however, bring up the useful thing, which is you can run these LLMs locally, which is awesome. I think edge compute for AI is really interesting, which is how Recall works. I think Recall's goddamn creepy, and I actually question how many consumers will like it. However, the larger problem is, I do not think this industry is remotely sustainable at scale. I don't think it's going to be possible to scale this up. You've got Amazon and Google both telling their salespeople to calm the hell down because they can't match the hype. I actually think Sam Altman is the problem there too. Had he not told us magical stories about what AI would do, we get away from things like you were talking about. Sounds like you've actually found a use case.
I'm not alone.
Actually,
farmers in the Central Valley of California using AI to reduce irrigation water use over 40%.
Who's that?
Pardon me? You want to know?
Who was that? No, sorry, that wasn't me being argumentative. I genuinely want to look that up.
Yeah. There's also, I'll pull up this Medium article.
No, I would love to actually.
Yeah.
I think that part of bridging the gap here, though, is that the current use cases for AI, like Leo's talking about with his Lisp and Emacs models and other things like that, are not sexy. Like, they're not the sort of thing that you're going to get a couple thousand people together in one of these big PR presentation things and get everybody hyped about. And the industry has grown to such a size that the only thing that can sustain it is increasing hype, which is not super sustainable.
And that's genuinely what I've been saying, because look, there are use cases, but things like Sora is dead on arrival. They are going to have so many troubles with that, but also it's the hype that's the problem. While you have these use cases, the scaling of all of these various models is just, they don't do enough for how much they cost, how much energy they use. It's just not sustainable. And I feel crazy saying this because I would love if AI actually did the thing they were to. I would love the ability to actually query everything on my computer. I use Spotlight all the time. I would love that. I would love it if this stuff actually happened. I would love it if my calendar just knew what to do, if my computer could automate itself. This is what they're selling, but it's not actually what they're offering.
Leo would have agreed with you 6 months ago, but then he took a walk on the beach.
No, it wasn't the walk on the beach.
He took a walk on a beach with an AI acceleration.
I know this is a fun trope, and I play along with it.
Yes.
But the truth is, what changed my mind was using these and actually finding real use from it. At first, I did think it was spicy autocorrect. It was a parlor trick. It wasn't that interesting. Right. I think it is a huge mistake for them to focus, as I've said, on things like Sora and on Midjourney and on chat, because those things are really trivial, dumb uses. But there are many very serious uses of this. The company that does the irrigation automation is Lumo, Lumo.ag. That's just one. They're claiming 40% reduction in water use in the Central Valley. And it makes sense. What AI is good at is, by the way, what those BI people that you represented were very bad at. They misrepresented their capabilities. They don't like AI, so they have to come up with a hallucination story. And you know what? If I were in the financial industry, there are such huge regulatory issues, I probably wouldn't look at AI either. But that's going to be to their detriment in the long run. I do think it's very easy to dismiss this. I don't think it's there yet in many ways, but I have seen enough success in my own usage of it that I think there is a huge upside to this. And I think that it will age like milk, this position that, AI is just a trick, it's a toy, and it's never going to go anywhere. I think 5 years from now, Ed, you're going to have to take your words back. I really do.
Wasn't saying AI, I was saying generative AI.
Generative AI. Yeah, is the irrigation using generative AI?
Explain the difference to me. I'm sorry. I didn't understand that you were only talking about a specific slice of AI.
It's exactly what I said.
I love how mad you're both getting.
No, not at all. I just don't.
What's frustrating me is we're not necessarily disagreeing.
We're not. We're not at all. But I think it's really important to understand that it's. Look, believe me, 90% of the technology I see, I'm with you 100% on big tech and how it's failed us. 90% of technology is bullshit, and I've spent my career, 50 years, talking about both the good and the bad in technology, and there's plenty of bad. Right. My longtime partner, John C. Dvorak, made a living by saying everything was bad. Well, I have learned over time that not everything is bad. Right. The real job of our real job is to find out what's good and what's not good. But it's very easy. It's the easiest thing in the world. It's the reason John did it, because he was lazy, to say that that none of this is going to go anywhere. And it often is true. It's true enough so that people say, oh, yeah, he's pretty sharp. But it isn't always true. And I think this is one exception to that rule.
I mean, I think this is an opinion that I've expressed in the show before, is that, I think AI and generative AI and these technologies that we're seeing a lot of hype around are certainly going to be transformative to some industries in specific ways. They're not going to be transformative to all industries in this insane overhyped way that people keep fixating on and have fixated on over the last year, in the same way that we all kind of fixated on the metaverse or Web3 or NFTs or whatnot it's being hyped up to an unreasonable expectation.
Yes.
When really the grounded conversation about this should be that there are specific use cases where this technology will be transformative. And that's really cool. And I'm excited for that. But it doesn't mean that this is the end-all, be-all of all technology.
No, it's like
and that
everything.
the world is going to change in everything.
Like everything, it's nuanced. The problem is it's very easy for the critics not to be nuanced. For instance, this is an interesting nuance. AI versus generative AI. So AI is okay, but not generative AI.
I believe that the generative AI side is what the problem is. It is the thing making things so expensive. It's the thing being used to make all these
What's your
promises.
definition of generative AI? Just so I understand the distinction between...
I'm going to give you a messy definition. Forgive me.
Okay.
But it's the ones that models that generate based off of training data and parameters within that training data. Now, AI writ large, and you completely agree with me on this one. AI itself has been around for a long time. I've been going to PR when I was in 2008. People were saying AI back then. I've been representing AI clients since like 2012.
Oh, yeah.
Like AI, machine learning has been around forever, not forever, but it's been around a long time. And note that industry, when machine learning started being buzzy, it didn't turn into these massive headlines about how, it's not a creature. Oh, it's not alive. Oh, don't worry. AI, I'm so scared. I need to create a whole special party for how scared of the computer I am. None of that happened. None of the mysticism happened. Generative AI, maybe it's just the drug. Maybe it's just the thing that they are choosing to ride into the sunset. But generative AI is the reason that the internet is being eaten, that all these lawsuits are happening, and it's where all of these insane promises are happening. Indeed, generative AI could be useful in some ways. My whole thing is not saying it will be useless. It's that perhaps it will only give 4 or 5% profit increase in these companies rather than changing everything. And the problem is everyone's saying it's going to do this, it's going to do that, it's going to change everything. And a lot of writing on this is saying what it will do. And will is a problem because whenever you say it will do something, you're not actually saying what's happening in front of your face. During Google I.O., Sundar Pichai went on stage and said, oh yeah, AI agents, they will help you find your shoe receipt and start a return. Who knows when? Anyway, bye. That is disgusting to me. You cannot just be like, oh yeah, we're going to do a thing at one point. See ya. That's just playing with stock. That's not making cool stuff. I'm not a pessimist. I'm a broken-hearted romantic. I want cool stuff. I want cool things again. I miss
so
my
funny
cool stuff.
Because you're a PR professional who hates PR.
And that's why I like it. That's why the only PR person I like.
That's what this is PR. I think they're very right that there are some serious concerns, particularly the energy usage concern.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have quoted Stephen Levy's piece, "It's time to believe the AI hype," and I've also see your piece saying it's his extremely stupid AI piece. So let's talk about that. By the way, Stephen, like me, has been covering this technology industry for an awfully long time, and he says, I have seen things come and I've seen things go. There are times when, something important is happening and you have to acknowledge this. And he understands, he's also quoting Julia Angwin's anti-AI piece, I'm sure you.
Yeah, which had a lot of links that I used in my article.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I thought you might have liked this. Her title is Press Pause on the Silicon Valley Hype Machine.
Yeah, you can
that's
trace all of her links to my piece.
Yeah.
That's also Julia's regular refrain.
Press pause. Yeah.
Press pause on doing your own research.
Look, Stephen's made mistakes in the past. This is This is an opinion piece. This is not not a fact piece. But I'm more on the side of Stephen. I honestly think that there's a lot of hype in it. Unfortunately, I think a lot of the critics are criticizing the hype, not the sizzle, not the steak.
So here's a way to ask it. You don't buy stock in tech companies, but if you did, would you buy stock in OpenAI? All of you?
Not I.
I think
that's what Ned is saying.
No liquidity event.
Yeah. What is the liquidity event in it?
Yeah, on a reptilian level, there's just when
it's built on hype. It's the house that hype built.
Not necessarily. I think Sam would say
real value.
I think Sam would say that. And by the way, this is the exact problem with Sam. because he really believes the ends justify the means. He would say, look, you can't judge what we are doing on any rational market basis. It's going to cost an infinite amount of money. It's going to use an infinite amount of energy. It's going to break all the rules. Scarlett Johansson's going to get butthurt. But in the end, and this is very Tescriel, I know.
It's religion. It's a religion.
Well, it's not religion. I think it's also seeing perhaps there are times when you have to do a moonshot. I mean, a real moonshot. I don't mean contact lenses that know what your blood sugar is. I mean a real moonshot. And if ever there was a time to do a real moonshot, I think now's the time. I think, for instance, again, this is all speculative, Ed, so I agree. I concede that. But AI could conceivably help us figure out the problem of fusion. If it did only that, it would be worth every penny you put into it. And all the butthurt Scarlett Johanssons in the world. If it cured cancer, if it were able to make designer...
Okay.
Well, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. We're very close. Look, we have mRNA vaccines, which 5-10 years ago, people have said, no, that's not going to happen.
Made through a different process, though.
Understand, but the point is, if you could tailor a cancer drug to the particular genome of that cancer as opposed to the rest of your cells, and I don't think we're that far from it, you could possibly have a cure for cancer. Now, what if, with all this investment, Sam Altman creates an engine that helps that happen? Is it worth it? Could we make money on it in the stock market? Maybe not. But is it worth it?
I'll also say this is the argument that people used about like the metaverse. They're like, if we're able
not
to
me, by the
cure
way,
cancer.
I said the metaverse was bullshit from day one. I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew that from day one. I'm not hesitant to call bullshit on a technology at all.
Then what's different on this, man? Because you are basically doing the metaverse pitch. What if the metaverse could connect the whole world on the internet and put us inside the Ready Player One universe, which is evil?
We wouldn't even need legs, Leo.
Because
we don't even need legs. Where we're going, we don't need legs.
It was apparent to me, and anyone pay attention, that no one wants to strap a computer to their face. There was just these basic fundamental issues. Because AI can be used to solve problems, to help, maybe not alone, but to help us humans solve problems that are currently intractable.
I would agree. It could get protein folding. It can deal with diseases. Yes, sure. But what Ed is saying is the generative AI part of it is feeding back to us the worst of the power who could publish.
I'm sorry, I just don't understand this distinction. I don't know what this generative AI is as opposed to.
I think we're thinking of this as text people, and people are starting to rely on it for writing,
that's
expression.
Dumb. Don't.
I agree, but that's what social hype is about.
Don't rely on it to make music, to draw, to make art, or to do your own prose. That's dumb.
That's what they're selling.
But it's easy for critics to say, well, look at that, that's stupid, and then say the whole thing.
That's all they're selling.
Look at the main thing they're selling. That's stupid. That's the problem.
They're selling it because
it's not being pitched as this is the technology that is going to solve cancer, and here is how we are applying it. They are.
I'll give you a good example. DeepMind, Google DeepMind in 2023 published an article in Nature showing how they'd used DeepMind to discover new materials, hundreds of thousands of new materials unknown to man. Now, shortly thereafter, material scientists at UC Barber said, hey, yeah, but most of these are pretty obvious, trivial, or useless. Underline most of these. DeepMind found new materials. Yeah, most of them were useless. So I agree. By itself, maybe it's not useful. But combined with human intuition and ingenuity, that's something new. And in that case, I would say that's generative in the sense that it's generating new information or new solutions.
Yes, and there's great things that it can do. It's wonderful it can do it.
Well, that's all I'm saying.
The issue here is two things. One,
but people are going to throw it out because it makes paintings with 5 fingers, 6 fingers.
We're throwing out the companies that are bullshitting us.
Yeah, I don't know if they're bullshitting us. I don't think we know if we know.
AGI
just bullshitted us yesterday.
It means BS.
Yes, yeah. You mean the 4.0 announcement, or what happened yesterday?
Any mention of AGI from any of these companies, I'm disappointed. I mean, OpenAI is all into that. Anthropic is completely in the religion. Google even talks about AGI. AGI equals BS. And so they're selling us, and they're trying to get money. They're getting stupid money from investors around that. A lot of the uses you talk about, Leo, absolutely are wonderful and are amazing, but they don't get PR because much media is stupid, and they buy the BS, and that's why the BS works on both sides.
That's also the Nature paper was not generative AI; it was just machine learning.
Well, it was deep.
Gen AI.
Okay, it was DeepMind. I call
to
that
be
AI.
clear, AI itself. No, it is AI. AI itself, artificial intelligence as a thing, is not the problem. The problem is what is taking the oxygen and the funding and the media attention is not that. If OpenAI was going out there and they were like, we are going to change the world because we're going to allow you to, I'm not technical enough to describe the exact thing, but we're going to dump these scientific journals in here and we could spit out a new cure to something, whatever. If that was really what they were talking about, wow, cool, great. But what they're talking about, what they're going out and saying is, oh yeah, it's a super smart friend that knows everything you do. They're trying to sell you an app with generative AI attached to it, which they can't even goddamn build. They can't even do the things they're saying.
They're trying to sell you her.
They really are. And then they go, actually, we meant a different her. Another woman.
Rashida Jones.
Yeah, Rashida. And also the thing. So Stephen Levy's article, by the way, and I did talk to Stephen actually about it earlier, so I'm fresh on this one. His problem was that his way of showing that AI was progressing, his citations for the AI progress was not slowing down, was to quote a co-founder of an AI company saying it's going to be 3 or 4 times bigger soon. That is bullshit. It is complete nonsense. I've told Stephen as much, a little bit
What did
nicer.
he say? What did he say when you told him that?
I don't want to share the DMs. I'm not going to say the exact thing, but I said to him that, look, what you say this is a significant tech advance. What? From what to what? Because the problem here is, and one of my principal problems with how AI is being covered is, look how much of a mess this conversation is. You have a practical use case. You have one. You have built this. That's cool. But the thing getting talked about is a super smart friend that doesn't exist, is this theoretical thing, this way it will replace 90% of marketing people. It's not actually tech. They're not doing tech. They're doing marketing. And it's pissing me off.
I would submit, Ed, that you're shooting at paper tigers. You've said, well, here's something I can, and I agree with you. You're right. That stuff is bullshit. But the problem is that you're making that your general criticism of a whole field called AI.
I'm also saying that they have not
it.
produced very much for all of this goddamn money. They really haven't. What have they done?
Is it your money? Are you worried about your money?
No, but I'm pissed off about things that aren't my money all the time. Like,
I mean, if a bunch of billionaires decide to plow their ill-gotten gains into it, it's not my problem.
It's a nihilistic way to look at the world.
There's a finite amount of investment. Like, if the entire venture capital community is pouring money,
it's better than spending money on going to Mars.
Is it?
I mean,
yeah, a lot better.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if either of those are particularly useful, but also I think the Moderna vaccine was actually venture capital funded.
That's right.
That's a good example of where money could go otherwise. Right there.
You do understand that the Moderna vaccine came because they used AI to generate the proteins in a weekend that would have taken them many, many years to do with the previous techniques. But it was in fact AI that helped us.
I think it's a great use
eliminate
of AI.
COVID.
But you're not going to make as much. You're not going to get as much press, and you're not going to get as much investment because it's not Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, but see, here's my problem:
can you name the person that invented it or did those models?
I forgot her name.
Because the attention
I
is
can't name
it's
her.
not your. It's actually not your fault. It's not. The media, however, I sound like a right crank, but it really is like the people that are getting the attention are people like Sam Altman, liars, people that tell lies. Mira Murati, another liar. Brad Lightcap, another liar. These people lie. These are the people getting the funding, the media attention, the big Bloomberg TV interviews. And it's frustrating because
I agree with you. Let's attack them, though. Let's not attack AI.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I was saying.
I actually think
think
that's fair.
Let's attack them.
And the companies themselves. I think that
let's
is
attack
fair.
them. I'm not sure I agree.
The technology has tremendous potential.
Yeah, that's my problem. Is that it's very
here's where we're going to agree.
In the splash,
ruined.
In the splash of the attack, you're killing all AI. Is I think probably not.
But what he's saying is the jerks who are overselling it are ruining it because it's going to be a bubble.
You can hate Sam Altman. I don't know enough about Sam Altman to hate him or love him.
I know plenty about Sam Altman.
Yeah, maybe he is full of BS. I mean, the WorldCoin thing was a little creepy. But
the fact they've tried to fire him anymore. Poor Sam.
Well,
he was fired from Y Combinator for a combination of absenteeism and selfishness that rankled both the founders he was meant to help and his co-workers.
Yeah, but Paul Graham kind of defended him. Paul Graham kind of defended him. He didn't.
Okay, are you stumping for Paul Graham now, Leo?
Yeah, I am stumping for Paul Graham.
The moral authority of the Valley, the world's, and I say this as someone who types too much on the blog. Jesus Christ, Paul. But also, they tried to fire him twice from Looped, his first company. They fired him from OpenAI, and the response to that was they gutted the board and replaced him with Larry goddamn Summers and Fidji Simo of Instacart.
And he's not a technologist.
Oh, Larry
Neither's
Summers
Fidji. She was the head of product. But that's the thing. You're right, though, Leo. I agree. The companies are the problem because the underlying technology, there's some cool shit happening. I will fully admit that. But the cool shit is just enveloped by this hype cycle. Satya Nadella is a problem. Sundar Pichai is a problem. Liz Reed is a problem. The people
they're not all the same level of problem, though, Ed. Would you agree?
I think Sundar Pichai is worse than all of them.
Oh, wow.
I think he is he's a former McKinsey guy. He is him and Mark Zuckerberg are scum of the earth. They are I just did an episode on Mark Zuckerberg. Oh my God, what a piece of shit. Adam Mosseri or all the Meta people are awful. And the thing is, it's because they don't care about technology or people. They're not building anything. They're not innovating. They're not looking at the world and saying, how can we make this interesting for a profit? It's a profit. Like, we all know what they're doing. It's fine. You make money selling stuff, but they make things worse to make more money and to make more growth happen. That is exactly what Sam Altman is doing. He is, Leo, I'm going to agree with you here. There are really cool things in AI, but thanks to Sam Altman, they're actually ironic considering how many AI headlines there are not getting the attention. Because what people want is the magical computer that you talk to and it knows everything. I think the Windows recall thing that's going to face some regulatory problems to itself.
Europe is already.
Europe's just
already.
What is this?
Moral panic is what it is, but we're going to take a break and come back with more. In just a bit. Hold on. It's great to have Ed Zitron on. I've been wanting to get you on. Thank you. Betteroffline.com.
This Week in Arguments.
And his podcast is called Better Offline. And if you like this, you'll love Better Offline. BetterOffline.com. Ed, of course, is more than welcome anytime. I made
this happen.
I love having him on. Paris Martineau, it's your fault. So thank you, Paris, from the information.
It's my fault. This Week in Grapes.
And Jeff.
This Week in Grievances.
Yes. Oh, I like that. That might be a show people would listen to.
That's good.
Yeah.
And just for the record, the actual inventor of the mRNA vaccine is Dr. Catalin Carrico, who worked on it for more than a decade before she got any recognition. And in fact, her recognition was later stolen by others. But she and Dr. Drew Weissman actually worked on mRNA for a long time. But it was a breakthrough that AI was able to sequence the COVID genome in just a weekend in order to help them produce that vaccine. They had the technology, but they didn't have the information. We are going to take a little break and come back with more. Please don't go away. This Week in Google is brought to you by Yahoo Finance. Hey, whenever I say I'm not going to invest in something like OpenAI, before I really decide, and I don't invest in technology stocks, so this is a safe bet. But I have to have a retirement fund, and I invest in things like that. But before I check, whether to invest in something, I always go to one place, yahoofinance.com. For instance, we were talking the other day about Bitcoin and how it's doing. And the chart, Yahoo Finance, when you go to the advanced chart, is fantastic. You can change the scale, zoom in, zoom out, see where the peaks are, where the valleys are. But it's not just that. It's also the information, the news about anything going on in the market. Why is Apple down $1.45 today? What are its peaks? What are its valleys? You can see this all at yahoofinance.com. It's the tool every great investor has relied on for the last 25 years. And I can tell you, I never stopped using it from day one. Whether you're a seasoned investor, maybe you're looking for extra guidance, Yahoo Finance provides all the tools and data you need in one place. With Yahoo Finance, you get a holistic view of the financial news cycle, including breaking news, original editorial perspectives, analyst ratings, and more. But it's the place you can go deep. And honestly, that's what makes a great investor. Now, you should do what I've done, which is link your brokerage accounts. All my investments are with another company, but I linked it so that when I go to Yahoo Finance, I get a unified view of my wealth, including my 401k, my other investments. I can see how and why they're going up or going down. A comprehensive perspective distinguishes great investors, and Yahoo Finance ensures you have the insight to examine your wealth in its entirety. Really, it's all about information, having the right information at the right time. It's no surprise, over 90 million people use Yahoo Finance every month. Yahoo Finance's real strength is helping you on your way to financial success. Don't invest without it. For comprehensive financial news and analysis, visit the brand behind every great investor, yahoofinance.com. The number one financial destination, yahoofinance.com. Keep it, put in your bookmark. Actually, I have it set up by now so that anytime I look at a stock ticker, what do they call those? The little 3-letter thing, a stock symbol, I immediately go to Yahoo Finance. That's the only place I want to go. yahoofinance.com. We thank them so much for their support of This Week in Google. Well, so did you actually confronted Stephen Levy? That's a brave. I'm impressed.
Well, no, that's not exactly how it happened. What happened was I responded to Stephen in public, and then Stephen reached out. I'm not going to verbatim say what happened. He was lovely. He wasn't nasty.
I love Stephen.
I've never spoken to him before.
He's one of my heroes.
He was concerned that I thought he was somehow on the take, like not in a he wasn't defensive. He was just saying, I hope you don't. And I really don't. What I did say to him, though, is he was saying that there were these big tech advances. And I just said, from where to where? What were they? Because he also brought up AGI, and Jeff, I'm sure he'll appreciate this. I said, generative AI, AGI, not the same thing, not going to happen. He wasn't unreasonable or indeed misinformed. He's been around for
He's seen it all.
Yeah, he's seen it all. And for it was 1995, I think he started Newsweek, like very early. So he's been there from the beginning. I just fundamentally disagree with him. But I will tell you something. So I did a Google search because I saw this on Twitter just before we came back. I looked up cheese not sticking to pizza. And I'm just going to read you some of the tips that it gave me for keeping the cheese on there. Use room temperature dough. Use less sauce. Mix an eighth cup of Elmer's glue into the sauce for extra toppings.
You know where it got that
fairness,
from?
It is edible.
You want to look this up? Go on Google, type cheese not sticking to pizza.
It got that from a food stylist. That's how food stylists make the cheese in food images look good. But it doesn't know any better, right? It's true. It didn't know that you wanted to eat it. It just wanted to. You thought you wanted to stick it.
Is an interesting point, though, because I don't know if you guys have been seeing this online. For some reason, my Twitter For You feed has been showing me just a deluge of similar posts
all
throughout
tons
the
of
last week. One of them is on line 71, which is, it appears to be an issue with like American searchers in English, where if you type 1,000 km to miles, it gives you wildly incorrect answers. Like 1,000 miles equals some crazy number of feet that is incorrect, as well as, similar searches that involve kilometers and miles.
And here's the problem:
wildly wrong.
Google's SGE, Search Generative Experience, was in the labs. It was beta, but they have now pushed that out into your regular search, and you're getting results like this. Somebody did a search, actually it was Drill, did a search, how to pass kidney stones quickly, to which Google AI answered, drink plenty of fluids, water, ginger ale, lemon lime soda, or fruit juice can help pass kidney stones more quickly. You should aim to drink at least 2 quarts of urine every 24 hours, and your urine should be light in color.
Yeah, you don't want dark urine.
Obviously, that's a hallucination.
It tastes bad, yeah.
Or I don't even want to call it.
There's no such thing as hallucination.
By the way,
not be used around facts. It has no sense of meaning. As Emily Bender says, the only meaning is the meaning that we impute in it wishfully.
Yeah, and honestly, you shouldn't probably be doing that. But at the same time, Google is pushing this into its search results
And
Which
Leo,
is wrong.
I'm
That's wrong from the beginning.
Yeah.
It is.
And what's crazy is
Bing and GPT should not. It started with ChatGPT and Bing, which started all this hype. It should not have been used with ChatGPT. The poor schmuck lawyer whose hearing I covered said, I thought it was a super search engine. I didn't think it could lie.
I mean, what's crazy though is, to back up Leo's point, Google has had AI in it for a long time. They've been using it for anti-spam measures for years and years and years. It's been very effective on that until Prabhakar Raghavan. And by the way, if you type "who ruined Google search" into Google now, it will tell you, which is so cool. I have poisoned the internet. Amazing.
Well, let me try that.
That's the thing.
I don't use Google, so I'm going to have to actually go to google.com. Who ruined Google search? I love it.
But also, it's Google kind of had a civic duty that they've given up. So good.
Not did it merely link to your article, but it actually answers the question, Prabhakar Raghavan. Wow.
Yeah. That's very funny. That guy had like no search results before I wrote about him as well.
Congratulations.
There were like 3 of them. There was a ZDNet piece from 2005, a really bad Guardian piece, really awful piece about him being Carol Bartz's secret weapon.
Oh, dear.
Which is just very funny based on history.
Yeah.
And now there's tons of results, which is funny, but it's just Google has a civic duty. They really do. And they just don't care. Bing, same deal. Like this is the thing. These companies, they print money from these things and they're like, yeah, but what if we made them worse?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, so I agree 100% with you on this. I've been complaining about Google search forever. I stopped using Google search a year ago. But I don't want to tar everything with that brush. And even though big tech is embracing AI, it does not mean AI is a failure. AI has been through many winners, and I've been around to witness almost all of them, not the ones in the 50s. And for good reason. It turns out to be a lot harder to do the things that even then those AI scientists proposed. But we have been making progress that is remarkable compared to those AI winners. Maybe there's another one coming, but there has been remarkable progress, and progress nobody would have predicted. I wouldn't have predicted. So I think it's very interesting. I agree with you. It's overhyped, just like everything else that these companies do. They're doing it for the wrong reasons. But I don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater. I'm sure there's a better Britishism.
I know what you're saying, which is don't just reject all artificial intelligence because generative AI is causing problems. The problem is that I'm really not the one creating this problem. Big tech is.
Right.
Why does Meta put generative AI in everything now? Why is there a Meta AI bot that has responded in a kids group saying, I have a gifted child and here's the school it goes to?
Right.
Why is that happening? And the answer, by the way, is Mark Zuckerberg needs more. He needs more time spent. He needs to increase family daily active people. Facebook no longer reports monthly active users. FDAP, baby. But they no longer report any of their metrics other than FDAP.
Right.
Which is
the other
crazy.
Problem is that both Altman and I believe Zuckerberg left after their sophomore year and stayed forever sophomoric. They think that their view is that, a freshman essay is some view of the world. And there's others in the world. I mean, I think Jan LeCun is smart. I think Sundar is smart. I think they have more technical chops. But
Sundar has no technical chops.
Yeah, let's go. I want you to go after Sundar for a little bit here.
Sundar is a management consultant. He has not got technical chops.
And he's not a very good management consultant. He seems to be very poorly managing Google.
No, he's actually increasing the number. Number go up very good under Sundar.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
It has.
All right.
Yeah. He is a Stanford material sciences bachelor, but a Wharton School MBA. Ooh, that's a Stanford Wharton hybrid. Quite horrible.
So that's actually,
he's a career
though,
product manager.
In a way, I don't even want to blame the individuals who participate in that game. I kind of blame the people who made the rules of the game. And the number goes up game is not a good game for humans and other living things.
No.
So really, what's to blame is the perverse incentivization of the market.
There's not much we can do about that.
Of capitalism.
Of capitalism.
But guess what? McKinsey is the real problem.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Management consultancy brain that sees human beings as human capital, so a line item, that's the problem. And also, just being honest, sure, you can blame capitalism, but also, and really you can blame the public markets that increase stock values for companies that lose money or that constantly fire thousands of people. Absolutely blame them. But you can also blame the people doing it. I think, and that's what's important. You need to say their names because at the very least, people need to be informed about who's making these decisions.
But the board doesn't hire Sundar Pichai to have a conscience.
I
mean, you can't blame Sundar Pichai. He was hired by the board to make number go up.
Right now.
You blame him? I mean, I blame the board. Blame the perverse incentives of the capitalist financial market. Blame us because we want our stock portfolios to go up. There's a lot of blame to go around.
That's a reductive argument, Leo. Goodness me.
No, but he's just a cog in a machine is my point. He's just a cog.
Blame the system.
He's a really big cog, though.
This isn't a child in a disadvantaged society that falls into a life of crime. This is a guy with an MBA who stayed at Google for, 15 years before being elevated to CEO and turned it into yet another tech management consultancy bullshit machine. You blame everything.
I grant you that.
You're right.
I grant you
right,
that.
though. You cannot just blame him.
I guess I would say if it weren't him, it would be somebody else. If suddenly Sundar Pichai says, this is crap, I can't do this anymore, they'll find another Sundar Pichai.
Yeah, sure, but maybe he wouldn't be as evil. Like maybe I would rather they tried someone else. Just because someone else theoretically could do this doesn't mean that the person doing these things is any better.
Can the number go?
I'm curious, though, do you think that, let's say you put in a genuinely good, in whatever sense you want to define that word, person as CEO of Google, do you think that they could actually affect any change to a company of that size existing within the structures that it is with a board the way it is?
Yes. Yes. The answer is yes.
You subscribe to the great CEO theory of history?
I believe in a better
yes.
CEO. I believe that you can have
in a better CEO.
I believe in a more sustainable valley. When you build companies that are profitable, that don't have to hire and fire in a binge and purge cycle, this is all. I can blame venture capital because venture capital is incentivizing fattening companies
and private
up for
equity
sale.
and private equity
and private equity especially.
The nightmare.
Private equity companies are very, very evil, but at the same time, Sundar Pichai, he could affect change. And Prabhakar Raghavan, he's a Sundar Pichai choice.
Yeah.
In the emails from the Department of Justice, they beg to go to Sundar. Nothing happens because Sundar doesn't give a shit.
Who's a good CEO? Name a CEO out there of anybody in technology besides your clients, present company.
Enterprise Rent-A-Car. I think the CEO there is pretty good. One of the oldest Southwest, the old Southwest founder. I can't name one because there's
Who's the guy who runs Boeing? Now he's the kind of
he's great.
He's the kind of CEO. But that's number go up, plane go down. I mean, that really is.
I'll give you an example. The group that runs the Los Angeles Dodgers. They know how to run a company that still provides a service that is
unfortunately, it's impossible for us to argue with you because we just don't have any information about Enterprise or the Dodgers.
Seriously? But seriously, with the Dodgers.
You could say the same thing about the Dolans. That Madison Square Garden really gives a lot of pleasure.
Oh, and he is one of the great.
Well, actually, I can compare to the Dolans. I'm happy to.
Good.
So the foundation
I work with the Dolans. I can tell you about the Dolans.
But the thing is, though, what I'm saying is I'm agreeing. The problem with the Dolans is not one with the Dodgers. The Dodgers invest in the team, but they invest in the fan experience and the general actual baseball team. They make it good. There are baseball teams that are run poorly. Look at the Angels, where they print money because they can, regardless of whether the team is good. The Orioles had the same problem for years. This is a basic capitalism problem. And the problem is in tech, I feel like it has a nastier effect, especially when it affects products that really should be utilities in an ideal world, like Facebook, Instagram, all these things really should be public utilities. It would never happen. It's completely impractical. But what I'm saying is you can run companies differently and still very profitably. It's just that the markets incentivize perpetual growth. A company that's doing really well, but doing really well at the same level for 10 years, that's not good enough for the markets. Got to grow bigger, big now, big good. Look at the metaverse. Metaverse was a great example of this. Satya Nadella, he said in a conference thing, 2021, he said that he could not overstate the breakthrough of the metaverse. Now this guy 3 years later, he's all on AI. How do we know in 2 years he's not going to be on some other bullshit? That's the thing. They're doing, it's all symbolic capital. It's all marketing. These people are marketers. The product managers have poisoned tech. And it sucks. It sucks.
Honestly, and I, by the way, in agreement, but you sound like a socialist.
So what?
The accent helps.
National Health Service is a great thing. America should have Medicare for all.
But I mean, that is a bad word in American politics. I'm not sure exactly why. But
is it?
It is.
What are they going to do to me?
No, I'm just saying I'm a socialist.
My father ran part of the National Health Service.
Perfect.
I don't give a crap.
Love it. Let me give you a good example. You were talking about internet service providers in Utah. Utah did it right. The Utah Telecommunication Open Infrastructure Agency, weirdly named Utopia, actually built the open access fiber network. It's owned by the state, or a coalition of local governments, really. And then they invite ISPs to come on and compete on the shared infrastructure. As a result, Utah has 18 ISPs competing in over 21 cities. Many instances in Utah, you can get symmetric gigabit fiber for $45 a month. Some ISPs are offering symmetrical 10 gigabit fiber for $150 a month. For years, we've known this is the right model, that internet should be like water and gas and electricity, a public utility that you then have ISPs compete on top of. You get better results, you save money, but of course AT&T, Comcast, Verizon, and CenturyLink have fought this for years. That's the problem, right? I mean, what you're proposing is I agree. Social media should be public utilities.
It's impractical to do, but yes.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Because socialism is evil in the United States.
It's not just that, but also social networking is not something that's easy to compare to water or gas. Internet is a thing that you plug in to make things work. Right. Social networking is a little bit hard. Even explaining that as a government service would be very difficult. And
if you want to make a public utility, one could argue news.
Yes.
A perfect example. And in many countries, news is public. Although I think there are a lot of people who would say, well, should the government be financing news gathering?
That's where I get hives.
I was about to say, Jeff is going to fight.
It is the problem.
Us.
No, it is the problem.
It works in the UK, though, right, Ed? I mean, sort of.
Fairly well. It's not perfect. And it really isn't. But also, the BBC has amazing journalism.
I agree. The
BBC laps every single goddamn news outlet on TV when it comes to interviews.
Maybe after the July 4 election, it'll get saved again, but it's been under attack.
Yeah, because the conservatives love the idea of not giving us anything. It's just frustrating because the BBC does these amazing interviews, and then you look at American interviews, and people experience them. It's like they get amnesia between questions.
Well, but you did give us Piers, what's his name?
Piers Morgan is an utter piece of crap.
You did give us Piers Morgan. I'm not mistaken on that, right?
And we gave you all of America.
Ed personally birthed Piers
You gave
Morgan.
us all of America. Okay.
Yeah, but also,
you win. Yeah, you win. Yeah.
But also, Piers Morgan occasionally hits the switch in his head that goes to journalist. It's usually on arsehole. And he did this interview with an Israeli public relations person. And he was asking a very simple question saying, do you know how many Palestinians you've killed?
Oh, geez.
And the guy could not answer. And he kept asking. And
I saw
putting aside that, we're not getting...
That was
but
powerful.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
You don't see that kind of journalism in America, except maybe Isaac Chotiner. Legend.
Oh, yeah. Isaac Chotner's great.
Legend. God,
Mehdi Hassan.
But Mehdi Hassan, like him a lot, but also, why is he on Substack?
True. I was equally
Hamish
disappointed.
McKenzie slipping some money. So disappointed. You can't do the whole, He's on the right side of history with most things. But you can't do that and then be like, yeah, but you know what?
Nazis.
Little touch of Nazism is fine. just a smidge. It's like, what the hell,
But wait a minute,
man?
doesn't
Come
it
on.
stand for National Socialism? We're gonna take a break. Actually, a little closer
on
to
that cliffhanger.
A little closer to home. This morning, I had the great pleasure of watching the House Energy and Commerce Committee all agree that Section 230 is a terrible.
Oh, you're just trying to give me a heart attack.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Everybody on this show is going to get one heart attack this episode.
Terrible.
Don't be unfit.
And you know what the attack was? And this is in a way why I may be sensitive about the attack on AI. The attack was big tech should not be allowed to go unscathed with everything that they do, when, of course, the real consequence of abandoning 230 is that we would have to close our chat rooms and our forums and all the ways we interact with our audience, because unlike Mark Zuckerberg, I can't afford to defend myself in court. So
the antidote coming October 8th to a bookstore near you.
The web we weave, which Leo Laporte has got to send you a blurb on. Damn it. Every time I see it, I go, oh, shoot, I got to send you a blurb.
Homework.
I could write that blurb right now.
I know Jeff. And that's all.
Yeah, I know Jeff. And listen to Jeff.
Oh, that guy.
You should read this book because I know Jeff.
Okay.
And you should know Jeff. Anyway, we'll take a break, come back with more. Jeff Jarvis, my friends, the letter Tau, etc., whatever thing, Web We Weave, Gutenberg parenthesis, magazine. Go to Gutenberg parenthesis. Magazine. Ms. Paris Martineau, who recently interviewed Jonah Peretti. I wonder if you would have changed your questions if you knew that Vivek Ramaswamy was about to come into the
I
picture.
think you need a follow-up.
Yeah.
Listen, I do.
Wow. And the fabulous, I'm going to call you a firebrand, Ed Zitron.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Fabulous firebrand, Ed Zitron. You could find his podcast betteroffline.com, but I couldn't agree less. Stay online. Nobody would hear it if you weren't online.
That's the irony.
Oh, I get it. I'm not good on irony.
Hilarious.
I'm not that good at irony. Our show today brought to you by, this is a sponsor we use also, and I really appreciate, Delete Me. It all started when many of our staffers got an emergency text message from our CEO saying, I'm in a meeting right now. I need 100 Amazon gift cards. Use your credit card, the credit card right now and buy those. Now, fortunately, our staff is smarter than that. It wasn't from Lisa. But what we realized is somewhere, somehow, somebody knew not only what Lisa's phone number was, what her job was, but who her direct reports were, and what their phone numbers were. That's because all of that information is online, and data brokers are ready to sell it to you. If you ever search for your name online, you know how much of your personal, private information is online. And you need to do something about it. What we did is we hired Delete Me, and it's been a huge success. In fact, we got to keep using Delete Me because even after you delete all this stuff and you shut down these brokers, they just start collecting again, and it comes right back. But Delete Me does a great job of keeping an eye on them. They know all the data brokers. They will find and remove your information from hundreds of data brokers, and then they will keep scanning and remove your information regularly. We're talking addresses, photos, emails, relatives, phone numbers, social media, property value, and more. Now, it's not just you. Privacy is also a family affair. Delete Me has family plans as well. So you can ensure that everyone in your family feels safe online. Now, an adult has to set up the account and manage it. Delete Me makes that easy. You can assign a unique data sheet to each family member. It's tailored to them with easy-to-use controls. As the adult account owner, you can manage privacy settings for the whole family. Reduce risk from identity theft, cybersecurity threats, harassment, and more. If you've got a business, if you're a manager, you need Delete Me. All your managers, you need to be using Delete Me. It just makes it too easy for the bad guys and the scammers to leap into action. Delete Me stops them cold. Protect yourself. Reclaim your privacy. Visit joindeleteme.com/twit. Use the code TWIT. Joindeleteme.com/twit. And by the way, if you use the offer code TWIT, you will get 20% off. Joindeleteme.com/twit. patreon.com/twit. We thank them so much for their support of This Week in Google. It made me so sad to watch the committee meeting this morning because...
Oh, you're going to piss me off.
People who were intelligent in every other respect... This is what bothers me. It's almost a nonpartisan move to sunset Section 230. 230, as you, I'm sure, know if you watch our show. What is it? The 38 little words?
26 words
26
that created the internet.
Words that created the internet.
Jeff Kossoff book title, very good book. They should all read it.
Or read Mike Masnick on Tech Dirt.
Or read in general.
Or just read. The problem is it resonates with the same group of people who say, well, big tech is doing us a disservice. And they think it's about big tech. And, it's not. It's about little tech. Big tech's not going to be fazed by this. Anyway, I don't know if this particular... We've fortunately shot this down again and again, but NetChoice had a good article about it. Congress should not end the internet's sunrise with Section 230 sunset repeal. I'm not sure I quite get that headline, but NetChoice has been active in the lawsuits to protect Section 230.
Yes.
And to get rid of those
they are
horrible
related to the
social
tech
laws.
companies, but they're doing the right thing.
Yeah, it's their lobbying arm, but they are the ones who pursued the Texas and Florida anti-social media laws as well.
Right. It's an easy... I write about this in my book. It's a paradoxical thing where left and right both went after, right? One went after the sword, one went after the shield. The left said... how dare you not take down all this crap? The right said, how dare you take down our crap? The left says, the company's too big. The right says, the company's too big. And they say, hey, we agree on something. Let's get rid of 230 and be mean to technology, but also be mean, or that's a stupid way to put it, also
destroy the fabric of the internet.
Expression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels bad. So do we want Section 230 or not?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought was the case.
It's wonderful.
Let's be clear.
Last smart thing Congress did.
I'll read
that's kind of
a
thing
paragraph.
That makes sense to me.
I'll read a paragraph from the NetChoice piece. A key piece of misinformation is that Section 230 is a get-out-of-jail-free card for tech. NetChoice encourages critics to read the text of the law. Section 230...
It's only 26 words.
It's easy. Does not protect websites if user-generated content on that site breaks federal criminal law. It never has. Repealing Section 230 would not solve those problems while not making it will not make Americans safer, and it will open the entire industry, including small players, like every forum that you visit, like our forums, subject to massive litigation efforts by profiteers. This is in bold in the NetChoice article. Sadly, the smallest tech innovators and startups will suffer the most as they are less able to afford the massive litigation costs. Great piece, op-ed by the two authors, as it happens, of Section 230 in the Wall Street Journal, Christopher Cox and Ron Wyden. Buy this legislation or we'll kill the internet. They're referring to the famous National Lampoon article, which you're too young to remember, Paris. From 1973. God, most people are too young to remember.
I was about to say, was the world in black and white then?
Yeah. It was on stone tablets, but anyway. Wyden and Cox write, when we introduced this legislation in 95, when both of us served in the House, two things convinced our colleagues to endorse it almost unanimously. The first was the internet was different from traditional publishing. The equation had been flipped. We weren't dealing with millions of people watching a television network's production or subscribers reading a newspaper. Publishing and broadcasting tools were suddenly free, or nearly so, offering a microphone to millions of Americans who would not have the power, clout, or fame to be featured in Time magazine. And without the new legislation, the law perversely penalized content moderation. This is really key. Under the old rules of publisher liability, only an anything goes approach would protect a website from legal responsibility for user-created content. We can't moderate. We won't moderate. So do whatever you want. When they prohibited bullying, swearing, harassment, and threats of violence, they were legally subject to lawsuit. It was clear then as now, Wyden writes, that if the law were to encourage such a hands-off approach, the internet would turn into a cesspool And that's what they're proposing now, is to throw this out and set us back in time.
Either because one of two things. Either it's a cesspool because there's no control because you dare not try it to change it because the right wing is going to say you can't take anything down. Or it's a PDF of newspapers because that's the safe way to go, and you don't allow any conversation, any discourse.
No democracy.
Right. Yeah. This feels like something you want. I don't.
Yes.
Why are there? Do people just want to sue everyone?
No, it really comes from on the right.
Panic.
It comes on the right from the right wing that says, "Oh, you banned Donald Trump. You shouldn't be allowed to do that," and we should be able to go after Twitter for doing that. And on the left, why is the left supporting this?
The left says you're not taking down all the hate speech from the right, and you're too big and capitalistic. See prior discussion about capitalism. You commies, you.
Stopping Section 230 doesn't actually.
It doesn't do what they think it does.
It kills these companies. That is true. It will actually kill these companies.
Yeah. Well, not only that,
it will mulch them.
It also protects companies like this one, right? If I say something, I won't. Actually, I won't. And if you say something absolutely horrible right now, I don't know when that could ever happen, but maybe. Leo has Leo has both the right to tell you to shut up, but also is not fully responsible for what you say. This might be a little different.
Right. Yeah, I don't think it's true. Maybe it's not true on a podcast, but it would certainly be true if you did that
comments.
in our chat or in our comments.
Yes. Or on a Discord or something like that.
Yeah.
There are people all the time on our forums and our chats. We have a lot of public things that do things I deeply regret. but I'm not responsible for these animated GIFs, and you can't sue me for it. And the thing that's really important to understand, although it was funny, I was watching a member of Congress from Texas say this is what's wrong with 230. What it does is it's a preemptive defense that if somebody sues me and says, somebody posted in your Discord something awful against me, they libeled me, and you're responsible because you run the Discord, I can literally say to the court, Your Honor, Section 230 indemnifies me, please dismiss. And he is obligated, or she is obligated to do so. And that was, by the way, what the Texas legislator said. See what's wrong with this? There's no way you could pursue this matter.
Yeah, you're right, Ed. They want to sue. That's their strategy.
They want to sue.
Whether you get an abortion or help someone get an abortion or take down
the right of public action. Yeah, private action. Yeah. Well, anyway.
And what America needs is more lawsuits.
Yep.
That's what's going to make things better here. Allowing people to do more lawsuits.
Well,
because our courts are famously burdened with nothing.
You have libel tourism in your homeland. I wouldn't get too haughty about it.
Oh, no. Our libel laws are bullshit.
Yeah, they're awful.
They're absolutely ridiculous.
Taiwan and France. Two countries.
I've heard of them.
Yes. Two countries dealing with TikTok in opposite ways. Taiwan, of course, on China's doorstep, as the Times says, does not ban TikTok. It bans it on government phones, as it has every right to do. The ruling party refuses to use it, but it does not stop its citizens from using TikTok. Now, you'd think Taiwan is even more sensitive to propaganda and spying from the Chinese mainland, but they've decided it's better to have TikTok and educate people, to have good fact-checking organizations.
But Leo, China uses it to brainwash people, and they can't think of their own because they use TikTok, and China tells them what to think, Leo.
Hey, I hear TikTok's doing stuff to users to make them do more things on the app. I can't having those. We have a company that does that. I don't want
We don't
Meta.
need any more.
Meta, no, this is an American business, a proud American business.
Yeah.
No one messes with our citizenry.
Yeah.
Just us. Everything I read about what TikTok does, I'm just like, this is Facebook.
Officials in Taiwan, but by the way, who probably feel the same way about Meta as they do about TikTok, say the debate over TikTok is just one battle in a war against disinformation and foreign influence. We've been fighting it for years. We have a built-in arsenal of defenses, including a deep network of independent fact-checking organizations. There is a government ministry dedicated to digital affairs. Taiwan did early on label TikTok a national security threat, but never considered, and they still have not considered, banning it for the general public. The reason is they say we don't have the luxury of thinking of TikTok as the only threat. Yep. Right. Then contrast that to French TikTok, France, which is blocking TikTok in New Caledonia because New Caledonia is upset because they aren't a French draft law passed Monday, this is from Politico, would let citizens vote in local elections after 10 years residency in New Caledonia, propping up, so people maybe from France or from nearby Australia, whatever, 10 years you get to vote, prompting opposition from independence activists worried it will dilute the representation of indigenous people. Violent demonstrations of 270,000 have resulted in the deaths of 5 people, injured hundreds. So France banned TikTok. They had a 12-day curfew and they banned TikTok. The French Prime Minister did not detail the reasons for shutting the platform down. The local telecom regulator began blocking the app earlier on Wednesday. This is of last week.
I like that they banned TikTok, but not Charlie Hebdo.
Right. Weird.
Like they have one of the most insanely racist publications of all time. They're like, no, that can stay.
It's French. That's the difference.
It is wild that they shut down a social media app in a state of emergency over protests. I mean, I think that is
that kind of
overreach.
That's generally not what the good guys do.
Yeah.
Well, this is also about colonialism. Let's add that in here.
Of course, like that's what we're trying to sustain here. Like,
the French government, and by the way, it's the colonial government, I think, that did this, to be fair. Although, according to Politico, Emmanuel Macron tested the idea of suspending social media apps like Snapchat and TikTok last July during those nationwide protests in July over a police killing.
Again, classic democracy move.
Yeah, just shut down the TV stations and the radio stations. Mm-hmm. The New Caledonia government would not formally say why it singled out TikTok for a block. They said the decision was aimed to stop protesters from organizing reunions and protests through the app. But I'm sure you can use WhatsApp, so don't worry.
Leo, I want to see, here's an age check here. The kids won't know what we're talking about. When I hear New Caledonia, I think of one thing. See if it's the same as you.
New Caledonia. Do you think of shortbread
pop
biscuits?
Culture reference.
I don't know.
McHale's Navy.
Is that where McHale's Navy was situated?
Well, they often went there. That was kind of one of the
I've been to New Caledonia. It's just off the coast of Australia. We've visited.
McHale's Navy, a sitcom from 1962.
She just looked it up. You missed a great. That was a great show. You missed a great show. Ernest Borgnine and a young Tim.
How old are you guys?
They filmed there. I was in New Caledonia. I had a TV set in my room. That's how I became.
How old were you in 1962?
I was 6 years old.
Six.
I was about to say, you guys weren't watching this on the air?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because it was all safe for us then. We didn't have these evil phones that are corrupting you.
I forget. You had like 3 TV channels.
Paris,
they just had one of the. They had a big dinosaur.
Oh yeah. And you turned the dinosaur's tail, and then this came up.
Why wouldn't you want to watch this show? Look at this show. What a good-looking show this is. Doesn't that look like fun?
Wow.
It looks like they're in Portofino.
That looks like every show from that era.
I was going to say, this looks like a parody of someone describing a show from the 60s.
There's Tim Conway.
That was the 60s. That's
Love
it.
Yeah, it was the 60s. McHale's Navy. Actually went through 1966, so we were 10 by the time
and there were reruns.
And there were reruns ever after. I was more of a Petticoat Junction fan myself, but okay.
Well, there's
and I know exactly what that is.
This is every week.
Of course.
This week in Grandpa's.
Oh, the poster for Petticoat Junction also looks really classic. There's a dog there.
Well, Leo, the most important reference for this show, because it's true, is that we're on a 3-hour tour.
A 3-hour tour. The weather started getting rough. The tiny ship was tossed. If it were not for the courage of the fearless crew, the minnow would be lost. The minnow would be lost. Poor Paris. We do this to her every
line
week.
for the Petticoat Junction is nothing much happens around Hooterville, so it's up to the girls to come up with their own schemes for fun.
It was a different era. It was a different time.
Hooters have
This
had
is why you're
something
so
different
hyped
then.
on AI.
It
You're
was
like, wow, I had
completely
no intellectual stimulation for the first decade of my life.
True.
You know, honestly, nothing the AI could come up with would be any worse than those shows.
The Justice Department has announced that they are going to seek a breakup of Live Nation Ticketmaster.
Oh, good.
Oh,
good. Oh, I'm for that.
Hey.
I'm
Put
for
them
that.
in the
By the way,
goddamn
win this time.
grave.
Ed, before
Evil
you say
companies.
anything, I just want to point out they are also the same people who own iHeartRadio. I don't want to say anything to, it's all, it's
I
all
will specifically speak
it's
about
all Liberty
Ticketmaster
Media.
and Live Nation.
It's all Liberty Media, but don't, I always had, I had difficulty working for iHeart, to be honest with you.
I love them.
Yeah, they're wonderful people. I do
He
like the
hearts them.
people, but some of the shows on iHeart, the only thing that was good, about it is if ever, there was a scandal around me in any way, I would just say, yeah, but you run Rush Limbaugh's show. And they just shut up. They would just,
I can't play those games, though, because they won't introduce me to Stephen A. Smith. They won't introduce me to Ted Cruz either.
Yeah, they keep you well away.
Yeah.
2023.
They don't want me turning him woke.
According to the latest report from Access Now, the digital rights watchdog group, they do an annual report on internet shutdowns. 2023, we were just talking about shutting down TikTok, was the worst year for internet shutdowns globally by like a lot. An increase of 41% from the year before. There were a record 283 shutdowns of the internet across 39 countries. And of course, you always think, well, it's got to be, repressive, authoritarian regimes. And for the most part, it is. Although the Israeli military did it in Gaza, Ethiopia, Palestine, Myanmar, Sudan, Ukraine. 93% of all the cases recorded in 2023 occurred without public notice. It just goes off. Turned off the internet. Yep. Access Now's data analyst Zach Rawson says, we are at a tipping point. Take this as a wake-up call. All stakeholders across the globe, government, civil society, and the private sector alike, must take urgent action to permanently end internet shutdowns. Oh, that'll happen.
Yeah.
All right.
Human right.
Let's find something cheery.
Connected.
Something cheery. Something happy.
I
know.
Got stuff. We got cheery
I
stuff.
know what would cheer you up. Yeah, go ahead. Ed,
so it looks like another person just resigned. Gretchen Kruger just resigned from OpenAI. It's Freddy Krueger's niece. She was policy research at OpenAI. She's raising more concerns like Jan Leakey and Ilya Sutskever.
But they're not really being forthright about why they're quitting, are they? They're not saying,
this person's doing a whole ass thread.
Oh, good. This is on Twitter?
Yes, Gretchen Kruger.
Let's see.
I think it's her toenails are the knives instead of the fingernails, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It is a whole thread.
But here's the thing. I genuinely think something is going to change at OpenAI now, because we are 48 hours from the ScarJo, from Skygate and from Skyfall.
Her gate.
This is really bad, but also it's very clear all the people, at least with computer science degrees, are quitting. And I don't know, I actually think this is going to be one of the most interesting moments in tech media ever. Because I think right now, everyone's kind of sitting back and going, did we back OpenAI a little too hard? I think people are going to be.
No, they're not. They're not.
I have seen some people who have never said a bad word about Sam Altman finally saying it.
What do you think, Ed? Have you done any reporting, or do you have any insight into why Sam was fired? What happened then? I mean, it was 6 months ago. It took Sutskever 6 months to quit after that.
So just to be clear, I've not done any real deep reporting. Paris is the person who does. She's the qualified one, but
she's the real.
There's a great article by Natasha Tiku, I think Willa Ramos from the Washington Post from last year, that kind of goes into his. I'm going to bring it up. I got it. It's Elizabeth Dwoskin and Natasha Tiku. It goes into what might have happened. There are some rumors that it was about him lying to the board, but the thing is, that is being kept very quiet. It's so very quiet and so very strange. People aren't asking, like,
I believe that there was a New York Times article about there being specifically, I might be getting some of the specifics of this wrong, but one of the board members who was on the kind of like science safety-esque side of the debate had published a research paper.
Yes, she did. Yes.
Essentially criticizing OpenAI's approach to this. And Sam Altman had gotten very upset over that. And there was allegations that he apparently had kind of waged an internal battle to maybe push her out. Yes. And that part of the retaliation from the board to Sam Altman was kind of inspired by that spat.
What I love is their reaction.
It has TESCREAL roots, because she and Sutskever and company are on the far end of doomerism. They're P-doom people. And I'm not saying Altman to me is awful. I'm not defending that side of it. He's just pure capitalism. But you can't, it's a hall of mirrors. The safety people are unsafe.
Do you think OpenAI is as dangerous as, let's say, somebody like Palantir?
No, Palantir is way more dangerous.
Palantir is way worse, yes. I agree.
So OpenAI, I think, is hitting the limits of what they can do, and that's what's really freaking them out. Like what's happening right now is the cart is miles ahead of the horse, and Altman has made these insane promises that were very effective at raising capital. But now I don't think they're going to be able to show enough. And I don't think that Microsoft care. I think that Microsoft is going to try and find a way out.
Well, they hired Suleiman.
They're really trying to like but I think they're realizing that if like Ilya joins Microsoft, OpenAI is post. Microsoft is just going to scrape them away. Most of the 13 billion was cloud credits anyway. Yeah, Microsoft doesn't care. Right. Like they care, but Satya will bulldoze him. He's another product manager. Like they're all the people running these things. They're not technology. They're just product managers, product managing. And then you've got the TESCREAL people. They're the only computer people who seem to be close to anything. It drives me a little bit insane.
And let me try a comparison with you. To answer Leto's question, there was a moment when everybody said, oh my God, Cambridge Analytica is so powerful. It can change politics. It can change the world. It can change everything. They took our data. They know how to affect our lives. And then at some point, every researcher I know said, no, it's pure BS. Everyone knows that it had no power. It had no effort. It got built up in this danger scheme. And in a way, I think that's what's happening with OpenAI too.
Yeah, but you know who did have power and who did get Donald Trump elected in 2016 was Meta.
Well, but also, Cambridge Analytica is very different to this because Cambridge Analytica was big, scary, but also kind of hard to describe when you really got down to the meat of it. Like it was an app and it got data through and it kind of messy. It sounds very scary, but when you got down to the meat, it's like, this is kind of a weird story. With the OpenAI thing, it's not even necessarily a controversy. It's just, this dickhead has lied for a while, or he's just being shitty and he's annoying. We don't like him. And we have all the stuff we needed from him. Honestly, if this ends with Altman just getting drained by Microsoft, that would be a very funny thing, like a real assholes versus dickheads situation.
So Monday, Microsoft announced new computers, AI forward computers. In fact, they even call them Copilot Plus PCs. They have a special hype. They have a button on them. Of course, Copilot is OpenAI's ChatGPT. Microsoft's productized it. They are selling or pushing computers based on it, as are all the other big manufacturers, Asus, Dell, HP, Lenovo, Samsung. They're branding them AI computers. That's when they announced Recall also, which is a tool that records every few seconds what you're doing on the computer, saves it to a database so that you can then search it later, search it with AI or not. I'm not sure. You could query it with AI later. By the way, I mean, of course, if you don't believe Microsoft, then all bets are off. But what Microsoft says is the data never leaves the computer. All the AI is on device. That it is encrypted.
It's the MPU, right?
Yeah,
like
it's the NPU, right? And that it is encrypted. So even if it did leave the computer for some reason, but it doesn't. In fact, it's so much so that when you erase the computer, you lose all your recall data. There's no way to back it up or preserve it. It's local to the computer. Well, which reassures me. If you believe Microsoft, that reassures me. It's harmless. It's just keeping track of everything you do so you can
unless your computer is stolen and it is unlocked, unless you're in a domestic abuse situation, domestic violence situation, where you're forced.
You should definitely not turn it on.
Where these no, but that's the thing. Yeah, you know how people in domestic violence situations have complete autonomy over their fucking lives. Pardon my French.
Right.
Didn't mean to come off like that. But
it could be used that way. You're right.
It could be used in a way. It's also, if you're a lawyer and you get one of these laptops, this is the best discovery tool.
You should not turn it on if you are a lawyer.
You should not turn it on at all.
Harris, as a reporter, would you even let one of these things in your apartment?
No, I wouldn't let them anywhere near me.
It'd be hugely useful, though. We've talked before, Paris, about how you would like something like Notebook LM that had all of your materials in it that you could search.
I mean, yes,
and
but
there
also
are other
no. I think
companies
that
that
part
have
of
done
the
this.
concern for me is like hallucinations. It's also the fact that if anything was going to leave my machine, I would only be interested if it was somehow local and I could.
It is. It's local only.
Also, there's a company called Heyday that does this already.
Well, that little limitless pin that I bought makes a Mac product called Rewind that does exactly that on a Mac. So, I mean, there are other companies doing this.
Have you gotten your pin?
Not yet. I think August.
So, I don't know. Does it really? What about your magic glasses?
Magic glasses have not arrived.
Hey, Leo, what do you think of the Rabbit R1?
Oh, that's a great story. Turns out it was all it's not a scam, but the company
I don't know, Leo.
I
wrote 6,000 words on it.
Yeah, tell us, give us your story.
So CoffeeZilla has a great video out on that, but basically Rabbit before, literally the same corporate entity, they didn't even just do a shell thing, they just changed the name. They ran an NFT company called Gamma that promised all sorts of completely bonkers stuff like brain logic to control it. There'd be an MMORPG, there'd be a comic, there'd be a TV show, they'd open a physical store in LA. All of these things. There is $6 million. Don't know where that's gone. Same VCs though, Synergist Capital. They were mentioned in the Rabbit. Thing. But Jesse Liu, the CEO, he's saying, yeah, it was fine. I delivered everything. He didn't deliver everything he said. And CoffeeZilla did some incredible work. Took the ball and ran with it. But that company, it's so weird. This is one thing I'm a little bit bitter about, but also a little bit confused about. Why hasn't a single story about the Rabbit R1 included my or CoffeeZilla's reporting? Why is no one adding?
He's the one who broke this story, right?
No, I broke it.
You broke it?
Actually, a woman called Emily Shepard, a Twitter user, found a lot of this stuff. I found a bunch more than CoffeeZilla worked with me, and he did his video, and I shared a ton of research with him, and he found more.
Oh, good. Well, I'll give you credit then. That's
it's so strange because you'd think that the reviews would get updated. You think it's just very bizarre. If you're someone who wrote a Rabbit R1 review and you're hearing this, what's up? What's going on?
Yeah.
You embarrassed?
Well, a number of
because
people...
it was very easy to find this.
Was it? Oh, that's interesting.
It's so easy. You could Google Jesse Liu, CEO. You could find that he ran Gamma, but also he ran a completely separate company called RCT Studio. A completely different one that went through Y Combinator.
Yeah.
Like these, what are we doing? What are we doing here? How are these companies raising tens of millions of dollars without someone Googling them? And Google barely works, and you could Google this crap. It's just, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. I'm feuding. I'm just feuding. I'm sitting there feuding with myself.
One real quick question. This is Benito, by the way. Hi, Ed.
Benito's our technical director and producer.
How did Teenage Engineering get roped into this?
Well, they just hired him, I'm sure, to do the end.
Jesse Liu is on the board.
Ah.
Oh, that's.
I do not know. Oh, it's so disappointing. You should never touch Teenage Engineering ever again.
Oh, you can't say that to Benito. He's a big fan.
No, the Playdate is cool as hell. And their synths are
It's
lovely.
all really cool.
But also,
looking.
I think the synths are how Liu got into it, because on his Instagram, there is a picture of a big room full of synths. Yeah, I went deep. I went down an actual rabbit hole. It drove me insane.
Just to be fair, there's no contention that the R1 is doing anything behind the scenes or without your knowledge, right? It's just and a number of people pointed out that it is just an Android device running a simple Android app. Michelle Rahman discovered that.
It's that, but also they claim there's something called a large action model, which is a supposed AI that supposedly controls things like ordering Uber. But researchers found that it's Playwright scripts, which is like a software testing thing that clicks around you.
Oh, jeez.
And it barely works. It's insane. During the unboxing launch video, Jessie Liu tried to order Uber and it just went, I can't, sorry. Linus did a thing, didn't work. Spotify doesn't work. And they're claiming, oh, the LAM's just learning. Oh, they claimed it was trained on like 800, 900 apps. It's just,
how many R1s did they sell?
100,000 of them.
At a couple $100 each?
199. But I also have a sustainability question for them. No subscription fee.
Right.
How's that going to work? You need more people.
Well, and you get Perplexity included. That's why Jason Howell, he hasn't gotten it yet. He's happy because he's had Perplexity for 6 months.
Oh, yeah. That's cool. You get a year of Perplexity.
I paid $20 for that a month, yeah.
Yeah, if you want Perplexity to give you wrong answers, which it does. I would love Perplexity to work. It does not. I tried to use it for the most basic. I was like, what was Meta's earnings for the last 4 years? And it
doesn't know facts.
It gave me it searched and gave me, I think I did actually 3 years. And it gave me just a line of completely wrong answers. Just complete wrong, like wrong numbers, like insanely wrong. Hundreds of millions of dollars off in some cases. And it's just like, this gets me back to the wider AI thing, which is in the event that a generative AI could be a really accurate research tool that could do these things for me, that could do this busy work for me, I'd be so happy. I really would. If it could make
if I could just query like financial documents.
Exactly. It would be so useful, but it can't. And even if it could that would make me do the work it's doing anyway, because I wouldn't trust it. And it's just like I asked it, here we go, I found it. Perplexity asked it, get me the last 8 quarters of reported daily active users on Facebook from their earnings, Q4 2023. And it just got them all wrong. Every single one was wrong. And it's just, and it sucks. It sucks so bad because you'd think they'd work that out.
But if you gave it the annual reports for the last 8 quarters.
I can't do that. I can't actually do that.
Why not?
I can't do it. That's not a feature.
Oh, but if you used LLMs, if you used Notebook LM, it holds only to what it's given.
That's so much work. I don't want to. Why do I have to bloody build the machine? That's their job. That's the thing. That's the thing. If I'm paying for something, I don't want to have to build it. It's not my job. A computer works for me. And it's just very frustrating because there are theoretical promises with the generative AI boom that could be useful. But every single time I've tried, because I'm not just sitting here and disliking this stuff without trying it, really have. And it's just kind of shit. And it really, I should be able to tell it a very simple, get me all of the links that mention this from the last 24 hours, and it should just do it. That feels like an AI thing. That feels like something they should do. But no, it can't do that. It freaks out. It can't even start the spreadsheet.
Okay, so in the genre of harassing AI because you hate it, Leo, can I propose line 125?
This is where Jeff derails the show. So let's just
while we watch TikToks.
Something about Wendy and AI and TikTok, ladies and gentlemen. Let's turn the sound on.
You need the sound.
Well, I have it on.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Oh, I know. I've muted myself. I didn't want to make any.
Many have wished to do that.
Untoward noises. Oh, shut up.
Welcome to Wendy's. What would you like?
55 burgers, 55 fries, 55 tacos, 55 pies, 55 Cokes, 100 tater tots, 100 pizzas, 100 tenders, 100 meatballs, 100 coffees, 55 wings, 55 shakes, 55 pancakes, 55 pasta, 55 peppers, and 100.
By the way, I want to point out it's transcribing it quite well. It actually is understanding it, which is better than I would do. So go ahead. Let's see what happens.
Can I take you there?
Sorry.
You better take over.
The human took over. Well, what's the point there?
I think he's trying to get through to the person, I think. Do you guys ever do that when you're on like a
the other day I'm down the hall from Lisa, who's working in her office at home, and I hear representative.
Yeah.
Representative. Like 15
that doesn't
times.
work. It doesn't work anymore because you just have to talk in gibberish. Like you have to sound like you're talking. You're like,
I just hit 0.
and do that enough, and it'll get you through. Oh, that's smart.
I will tell Lisa that.
Beep, 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 beep. Fuck you. Beep, 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 beep.
All right. Actually, I was going to bring up something different, but I'm glad I did not realize that, Ed, that you broke this Rabbit R1 story. So credit to you and to Emily Shepard.
A ton of research.
And
she's a random person in Bristol, in England. I do not know.
The piece is on your Ghost. Where's your Ed.at? It's called Rabbit Hold.
That's right.
But the good news is if you have one, I guess when Jason gets his, it's not like doing anything to you. It's just not functional.
It's just not doing anything for you either.
It's like the Humane Pin, by the way, which is now available. If anybody
let's mention that.
For sale,
if you got a couple $100 million,
I love
if you got $1 billion,
yeah, the temerity of a management consultant and a former Apple designer to be like, yeah, we need 750. But you see how bad our tech is and how much it sucks and how much everyone hates it. It's also super expensive. By the way, that'll be $1 billion.
It's Marquez Brownlee's fault. It's not our fault. It's Marquez. Wearable AI startup explores potential sale. Of course,
$230 million investment. They'll never get that back.
They're seeking a price of between $750 million and $1 billion.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm seeking $1 billion for Twit too. Doesn't mean I'm going to get it.
Oh.
You can ask whatever you want. Nobody in their right mind would give the penny for Humane, right?
I wouldn't be surprised if they were also turned down by quite a few companies.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were like talking to people who were like, no. Apple probably was, they probably didn't pick up the phone.
What do you think of Meta's Ray-Bans, Ed?
I've heard good things. They seem to actually be useful. Even if it's just the video aspect, they actually seem to be a useful piece of tech. I don't like Meta and I don't trust them, so I will never buy any hardware from them.
I knew that caveat would be coming, yes.
But
I bought them. They were fun. I mean, they sound good. They're good for listening to Ed's podcast. I mean, I'll give them
They freaked out a bunch during our recording when you were wearing them.
Yeah.
Just randomly, they would turn on and try to talk to you.
And then I gave them to Micah Sargent. But now, by the way, they've added a new feature. You can post directly to your Reels, your Instagram Reels from your glasses. So if you want to bore people with every detail
Who asked
of your day.
For that?
Well, at least they're adding features, right? They're adding features.
Mike Isaac does these amazing cooking videos.
There you go.
Does these
perfect.
I will say, yeah, that's the only person I know
that's the only use case I've ever seen. I've just Mike, and he turns to his dog, and his dog just looks at him.
Wait, Ed, you could get them and then bring back your smoked meat content.
God, not anymore. Someone actually threatened me
over your smoked meat.
Yeah, he
was posting a lot of lovely photos of smoked meat.
They said I should die, and I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore.
Were they PETA activists? What was the?
No, just a random person
that didn't like smoked meat.
Yeah, some nutters find me occasionally. Far less these days, but there's some nutters.
Mike calls his Insta Reels "Middle-Aged Man Cooks," episode 8. here for your.
Oh, they're awesome. No, they're genuinely they are very relaxing to watch. I watch them when I'm stressed to calm down. Also, Mike's a lovely fella.
I'm gonna have to maybe get those Ray-Bans back from Micah because
pretty fun.
Yeah, I cook a lot.
That does not look very good.
I actually cook stuff that looks much better than this.
Yeah, this does not look good.
His food looks fine.
To his credit, he's really not an internet chef like some people we know.
Like your son.
I called Henry. I said, hey, can I come over? He said, you can't right now. I'm doing a party for The Rock.
What?
Apparently, The Rock makes a tequila. And
yes.
My son lives on a houseboat, and so he had a party sell The Rock's tequila on his houseboat, I believe, was the...
With the salt that he has?
With the Rock.
Oh, I didn't even ask about that. I've been told that he's been talking to... what... I want to call them the Kevorkians. They're not the Kevorkians.
The Kardashians, probably.
The Kardashians. Sometimes old age is a good thing. He's doing a deal with somebody who helped the Kevorkians sell their cosmetics or something. They want to take over his salt enterprise. So maybe he's gonna...
Ed, for context, Leo's son is a TikTok influencer called Salt Hank, who makes ASMR TikTok videos of him cooking.
Oh, they're more than ASMR. Let's just take a look at the latest.
They're delicious.
He's here. There he is on his houseboat with some wings. Here, I'll turn on the sound.
Go right in. Spend like 8 minutes. Once it's done, just let it drink.
Look at that mustache.
For a second.
Oh yeah, he's famous for that.
It's still hot and bubbling. The Nashville hot seasoning. It's got cayenne.
Oh, it's an ad. Never mind. A lot of what he does these days is an ad. I guess he's making money, more than I am anyway. It's good. Somebody's going to take care of me in my old age. I guess the Rock ad hasn't happened yet, but it will come sometime.
Funny.
Was the Rock ask him if there's a tie-in.
I don't know. I don't think the Rock was there.
Tequila.
I don't think that's good. He should. Here's Kentucky Fried Chicken. Here's Panera. The guy is. Here's Whistle Pig Whiskey. The guy's an ad legend. I don't.
I'll never forget the Cheeto
Panera
duster.
I don't know. Panera bread. Oh, just like how good their sandwiches are.
And baked by Melissa.
On this lunch date.
I brought us lunch.
Wait, you're the cupcake and salad lady.
You're the sandwich guy.
I got the.
Okay, enough.
Okay.
Here for Ed, if you need a cookbook. Salt Hank, a 5-napkin situation. Pre-order now on Amazon, available in October.
All right, mate, I'm the PR person.
Let's take a little break for another ad after that ad, and we'll have more. I guess we got to do a changelog. We haven't done a changelog yet. It's great to have Ed Zitron on.
Actually put stuff in there.
Yeah, somebody's got some changelog thing happening. Ed is, of course, the host of the BetterOffline.com podcast and the Where's Your Ed.at newsletter. And a friend of Paris Martineau, who's also here from the Information, working on something big.
Trying to.
Do you
always trying.
Do you need
to.
a tip at your signal?
Listen, I'm always
Martineau01?
need a tip at my signal Martineau.01.
Sorry,
which is not on there.
Benito, can you put the dot in? Can you get that dot in there, man? Oh no.
Gotta get that dot in there.
Well,
because Signal won't let you have it without a dot.
Who's this Martineau01 I'm following on Signal then, if it's not you?
Well, it's no one because
It's
Signal
me.
won't let you do the usernames without the dot, and it's very annoying.
Oh. Okay, let me see.
I'm gonna add you on Signal now.
Yeah, gotta add her.
That's
on Signal.
where I send all my leaks.
Yeah,
all your cool leaks.
all the stuff
I can
you
get
know
the blog posts
about
early.
Sam Altman. Get it over there
Sam
to.
Oh, if you have a tip about Sam Altman, you want someone to get very upset about it. Yeah. Easy at betteroffline.com. Send it over. If you want a real journalist to look at it, Paris.
Yeah. That's
Easy
all we'll do
at
it.
betteroffline.com. That's the best address ever. Our show today brought to you. Oh, and I didn't mention this old guy here. Jeff Jarvis is also here. Professor. Professor.
I could keel over from old age. You let me just sit here. Yeah, geez.
We were both 6 in 1962.
And you grew up watching shows of guys in a line in front of a logo.
Do you remember, Jeff, when Kennedy was shot?
I do.
Who could forget it?
I was in Westfield Friends School, Quaker School.
Jeff was on a grassy hill.
I feel like
focusing straight down the barrel.
It is almost to the point. Like, okay, well, let me think about this. If you were in the United States in the late 20s and you said, do you remember when Lincoln was shot? And they said, oh, yeah. They'd be our age.
You wouldn't, because it would have taken a while for people to get the news.
That's true. The news it didn't break fast, but you remember you heard about it. Oh yeah. Our show today brought to you by Collide, Kolide. You've heard us talk about them before. Really good company. that is a user-focused company that helps companies that use Okta secure their stuff, their networks. See, because Okta will make sure that that's the real person coming in. But what about their devices? What about their software? Is that secure? That's what Collide does. Now, here's the good news. Collide was just acquired by 1Password. Why, you say? Why, Leo? Why is that good news? Because they lead the industry in creating security solutions that put users first. For over a year, Collide Device Trust has helped companies with Okta ensure that only known and secure devices can access their data. And that's what they're still doing, but now as part of 1Password. And there's some real synergy there. So if you've got Okta and you've been meaning to check out Collide, there is no better time to do it than right now. And by the way, easy to get Collide up and running. They come with a library of pre-built device posture checks, all the stuff you'd want to check. You know, how is their operating system patched and up to date? Are they using a current browser? That kind of stuff. But you can also write your own custom checks. They're very easy for just about anything else you can think of. You can really make sure that your network is protected. Plus, you can use Collide on devices without MDM. That's great for your Linux fleet, your contractor devices, and, of course, every BYOD phone and laptop you've got to put up with in your company. Now that Collide is part of 1Password, it's just going to get better. Now's the time to go to collide.com/twig to learn more and watch the demo today. KOLIDE.com/twig. So proud and excited for Collide, and so glad that they are part of our show. KOLIDE, collide.com/twig. Thanks for your support. Collide. Hey, big news. Google Flights. Well, it's time for the change log.
Yep. Jeez, don't mess up the...
Yeah.
Oh, so much better.
Oh, what a relief.
Oh, the universe was out of sync.
For a long time, there was only one thing missing from the perfect Google Flights search, and now it's there. They are showing Southwest fares. No longer do you have to go to iFlySWA to find out what Southwest would charge. You could just go to Google Flights.
Another exciting addition to the Google changelog.
The
Thanks
fun
to Scooter
never
X.
You, however, cannot find information you actually need.
Yeah. Well,
we don't do that anymore.
Not anymore. But if you need a flight, we bought the company that does all the flights, so we do know that much. Google is, by the way, we were talking about how their search generative option, the experiment, and how I was telling you to drink urine. They are now bringing back classic search, so you don't have to use the AI.
Classic Coke, man.
Classic Coke. Whoops, they say.
There's AI Coke and classic Coke.
Also, you know that this is gonna this probably cause some real internal issues. You know someone is real pissed about this. Because what do you do now? What do you actually do now?
Yeah, because
you just no one's going to pick SGE.
Right.
It's also, there's a way to make the Google web search default that this blogger at tedium.co put together, which is a little convoluted. You've got to kind of put in a specific URL behind the scenes to kind of your whatever browser you're using with
Yeah, I do like the people who are this is going to solve it for everyone. This is going to solve this for 8 people.
This is going to solve it for, a couple dozen people who are willing to put in the couple minutes of work it'll take to permanently fix it. But for those people, they'll have a lovely web viewing experience.
You did, or maybe you didn't see the tweet about Scott Jensen, who left Google last month. This is kind of informative.
Oh, yeah.
He was at Google in UX design. He says, and I don't know, it's not Twitter. I'm not sure. I saw it on Twitter. Somebody retweeted it, but it doesn't look like Twitter. I'm not sure where this was. Maybe Mastodon. I just left Google last month, Scott wrote. The AI projects I was working on were poorly motivated and driven by this mindless panic that as long as it had AI in it, it would be great. This myopia was not something driven by a user need. It's a stone-cold panic that they're getting left behind. The vision is that there will be a Tony Stark-like Jarvis assistant in your phone that locks you into their ecosystem so hard you'll never leave. That vision is pure catnip. The fear is they can't afford to let someone else get there first. And he points out the same exact thing happened 13 years ago with Google Plus. I was there for that fiasco as well. A similar hysterical reaction, but to Facebook. Remember that? They did. They scrambled. It was a code red.
Remember Google Wave?
Oh,
it was a website.
Sigh. Google Wave. Anyway.
Beautiful. Anyway.
No more AI in your search for now. Right?
I've heard similar, and I won't say much more.
Well,
like I've heard that the panic is real in Google, and they are terrified about AI, someone else getting there first, and they're doing stupid things, and people are very worried, but for many different reasons.
Well, and this isn't really part of the Google changelog, but the latest rumor is that Amazon, in fact, is going to offer an AI-based chat assistant in Alexa for a price.
I love it.
We're not allowed to say her name, Leo.
They lost $10 billion on Alexa
in 1 year. In 1 year,
and they're like, we need it to be more expensive.
From CNBC, Amazon plans to give Alexa an AI overhaul and a monthly subscription price. It will not be part of your Amazon Prime, according to a source. This is Kate Rooney reporting at CNBC.
Crypto booster. Sorry, I coughed.
Wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be funny if Scarlett Johansson did a deal with Amazon, and they
honestly,
I mean, that is a good potential business move.
If I was Anthropic, I would be going to her and being like, "How much do you want?"
Yeah.
How much?
Here's the one line you were talking about. The one line that fixes Google search. I haven't tried this, but apparently, if you add UDM equals 14 to the search URL, you will get the old school web search, right?
And if you scroll down towards the bottom, the writer of this explains how to kind of make this permanent, which you have to kind of go to your settings.
You can
Google
do that,
search.
right?
You can
I've worked it out.
Go to your search engines and then add a new
string.
item in there. That's Google Web only with that string.
Yep.
No, the AI search thing is a genius marketing plan. What they're doing is making everyone romanticize regular search, which sucks. So,
or is it a fight? Is it a political fight within Google? That fine,
no, they killed all the people.
This is a search company.
They killed them.
No, they not literally, but they put Ben Gomes, who was like an OG. He was like an OG search guy. That was part of the story.
Yeah.
They put him as the SVP of education. They put him on the island from The Prisoner. He's gone. Like all of the people who were involved with that have been shoved to the side. Jerry Dishler, Prabhakar Raghavan, they're the ones in control. Liz Reed, Raghavan.
All because search was so pure that they weren't helping ad revenue. Now, of course, their job is.
Oh, no. Search was being poisoned already. Like there was plotting, but there was a genuine defense of it. Like Shashi Thakur and Ben Gomes, they were really fighting back. But there was also a bloke who got fired and who like quit in like 2018. It was in the Hacker News comments. And I looked him up and they were like, yeah, he left and went to Uber. Yeah, he got fired from Uber potentially for being a sex pervert, like for actual credible sexual assault allegations. So people need to check out who they're romanticizing first. But I think that there is not a battle within Google to protect search. There is a battle to see how badly they can mess with it to make more money, to prove to an imaginary investor class that Google has still got it with AI. This is where the problem with hype is. And to be clear, they could stop this. They could not do this. They could say AI shouldn't be in search. AI is stupid for search. For example, something like exactly what is happening would happen.
Here's an interesting idea. What if they put ads in Google's AI overviews?
That'd solve all of our problems.
They're going to do it.
Yes.
Well, they are.
They're going to do it. They're going to steal the internet, and then they're going to steal the internet, and then they're going to sell it back to us, and they're going to put ads on it, and they're going to claim it's good for us.
So if you're wondering where you could get 2 gallons of urine to drink every day, you could have an advertiser say, and we'll sell it to you.
But only premium.
Highest quality, of course.
Just buy some Pepsi.
From, Piss Cups. Pisscups.us. Don't go to that website.
Not chat.cn.
Don't.
Is it really?
Don't click on it.
Oh, come on.
I don't know what it is.
How did you find it?
I just made that up.
Oh. Well, let me just see.
I don't know what that will take you to.
Pisscups.ru.
Oh, there you go. That's safer. Absolutely. Yeah.
No, I've actually been looking at a few websites I want an email address on. There's 1-800-GET-TOILETS.com.
Oh, that could be good.
Also, injuredinahotel.com. I saw that on a billboard. I'm like, I really want to email them and say, can I have it?
One of my favorite billboards whenever you're going to and from Newark, I'm sure, Jeff, you'll well know this. It's something like injuredinNewJersey.com.
That would be great.
On a
Jeff
big billboard.
at injuredinNewJersey.com would be an incredible email address.
Injuredahotel.com.
Oh, that's the guy, the lawyer. Yeah, right.
There should be a market for these. Like you could make a little incidental, change selling email addresses to your domain. If you had a really awful domain like pisscups.us.
I had
a brief correction. The billboard just says, I got hurt in Jersey.
I got hurt in Jersey.com.
This is so injured in a hotel.
Injured in a hotel.
I owned, pardon me, John, but we've gone way over on the bad word limit here. I owned shitwidget.com.
Benito's blooping like crazy. What?
Oh, yeah. Shitwidget.
Why?
Was this part of your empire? What was the gross website you had that just had like shit and piss and all the other stuff?
That was the yuckiest site on the internet, but that was for kids, parents.
Oh, so this is the adult one.
Yeah, that was the poop site. This is the. I let it go. I didn't renew that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Somebody already has bustedflatinbatonrouge.com. But I could get, there are a few other busted flat in Baton Rouge options /furniture.
Okay, busted flat in Baton Rouge .associates.
There you go. That'd be a great legal firm. Moving right along, Google rolls out immersive. Oh, wait, it's a good one too. Let me tell you, Google rolls out immersive AI-powered shopping ads.
Finally.
Yes.
The world's been waiting for video-powered search ads, expanded try-on for apparel, and 3D shoe spins to assist with those complex
scroll
shopping
down
decisions.
And you can try on the outfit.
Try on.
That one. Now you can change. Now, yeah, you can do that. Then
it's
you can
approaching useful. That one's almost useful, but there's been companies doing that for a while.
Yeah. It's just in search now, which is kind of nice. I think that's good.
I love that the shoes spin. That's very funny.
SpinningShoes.com.
But this is news organizations. They can't do this. They could.
They can't make shoes spin?
No, they can't make shoes spin.
Why not?
Because they're behind.
This was like the whole pitch for the outline.com is like we can make the ads spin and do stuff like that.
Really?
What I like is the Washington.
Yeah.
Washington Post today, whoever the CEO there is, they rotate them every few weeks.
Will Lewis.
Yeah, he was like, we've got to put AI everywhere in the newsroom. I wish just once someone would go, what the hell are you talking about? Just scream at him. I just want one of these people to have that screamed at them when they say it, just to hear what they have to say. Because honestly, what do you mean?
Okay, I can answer this because I
honestly genuinely
went to a couple
curious.
of hours of Jeff's great somewhat off the record. I think it was on background.
It was on the record.
Okay, on the record conference. Yeah. One of which was it Danish news?
No, Norwegian
news org, and he went through all the different ways that his news organization is using AI. One of which that runs to mind is like if you have a story that you need to you want to make into like a Instagram story or video to share on socials, it uses generative AI to suggest potential like B-roll video for it.
Actually
and then
useful.
I guess you could put your captions to a variety of different music.
You know those clips we send you every week? That's how we do that.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all generated.
They have a tool for VG. By the way, I introduced the editor to VG at the event, and I said, how do you say VG in Norwegian? And he said, VG.
What is VG?
It's the New York Times of Norway. It's the Gard Steiro was the editor-in-chief. It was great. It was really quite wonderful.
So that does not sound like what the Washington Post is doing.
No, I'm trying to find this. So the Washington Post, Will Lewis, by the way, who's under investigation for killing like millions of emails in the phone hacking. If you go to Prospect Magazine, you can hear all about that.
He deleted them, huh? Ooh.
Well,
Will Levis.
he oversaw some of the cleanup, and I'm trying to find it right now. But there was a report from Semaphore about what was going on inside that Washington Post meeting, and the first priority, SEO. Yeah. I mean, how 2007 can you get?
Yeah, man.
By the way, talking about good SEO, I just purchased for a mere $18. I lost my virginity in NewJersey.com. So anybody wants
Nobody
email,
has sex there.
Anybody wants email from...
it was in Illinois for me, so
okay.
No, I can't.
Right. Pennsylvania.
I bet they're all available. You know, you could have a custom one. I should just buy 50 sites and I could sell them. I bet I'd make a lot of money on that. Come to think of it.
Yeah, definitely. That's people.
50 times 18?
Why would you use this website? What is the...
No, nobody has one. That's why it's available.
I want to lose my virginity in New Jersey.
Okay, both are available. You can get them both. Yeah. Google's new Add to Chromebook badge makes web apps easier to find and install, Jeff.
Which
That's
you know
huge.
What? I don't add apps to my Chromebook.
You shouldn't.
I did for a while and I just stopped.
Just bogs them down.
Doesn't work well.
Don't need it.
Doesn't work well.
Don't want it. Go away. But there is a badge.
I recently got a new MacBook Pro, an M3 MacBook Pro. I can run 18 Chrome tabs now.
Great. I very specifically, when I got my new MacBook, I was like, I have to get as much memory as possible so that I can have every Chrome tab open at once. And it really...
Yes, that's what I did as well, and it's so cool.
It really brings me so much
I can have 3 different windows for Twitter that I move between.
I know, and it's like all of them have 75 tabs, and then on each one I just type in twitter.com, even though now it's just x.com, but I'll never stop typing in twitter.com.
Let's see what else in the vast arena of the changelog. After beating Sonos in that lawsuit, Sonos said Google stole the Sonos secret sauce that allowed them to do group party mode. Google has brought back group speaker controls in your Google speakers, or will be once Android 15 comes out. After winning that case, actually Google lost the patent case in 2022 and took out a bunch of this stuff, including the ability to control speaker volume as a group. But in 2023, some of those patent wins were thrown out in court, and so Michelle Rahman says the feature's coming back. It's already in the beta for Android 15. You'll get it soon when you get Android 15. Do I really care? I don't know. I don't know if I care. Magic Editor for older Pixels is starting to roll out.
How old?
That's a good question. Let's see. By the way, it's a whole bunch of stuff, not just Magic Eraser. The following AI tools, according to 9 to 5 Google, will be going free for all Google Photos users: Magic Eraser, Unblur, Sky Suggestions, Color Pop, HDR Effect for photos and videos. And you said AI wasn't useful, Ed. Portrait Blur, Portrait Light, Cinematic Photos.
It's everywhere, Ed.
Styles in collage editors and video effects start rolling out May 15th. Well, that's passed. And in fact, it's gone live for some Pixel owners. All Pixel 8 and 8 Pro guys had it originally, but now it's going to roll out for others as well. I think you'll get it, Jeff. You're a 6? Pixel 6, yeah. You should get it. Google Pay. Hello, Google Pay will show your card benefits. Autofill with PIN face unlock over security code, says Abner Lee. A little fractured, but he probably didn't write that headline.
This one.
I don't know what this is. 3 updates to Google Pay to streamline usage across the web and mobile experience. Do you use Google Pay, Jeff?
Yeah, occasionally.
Okay. I use Apple Pay everywhere I can. In fact, because it's on my watch, I just go boom, 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 and it's like getting stuff for free. It's so great. I love it.
It's like I'm not even paying money for it.
Is there money involved? Who knows? Google, there are still...
Is it my credit card? Who knows?
Who knows? There are still times when the payment autofill feature on Android or Chrome requires you to manually enter your card security code. What are we, savages? Going forward, Google says you'll have the option to automatically fill in your card details with PIN, fingerprint, and face unlock. So it's basically just streamlining the whole process. You don't have to type in anything on the phone. Gosh, we've had that on Apple Pay forever and ever and ever. Yeah. Google's now. YouTube is once again rolling out its newly hated New web redesign, says Ben Schoon on 9 to 5 Google. So it was like new Coke. They tested it last month and moved the title of the video, its description, and the comments to the side of the screen. Ew.
This was violent. This happened to me, by the way.
Oh, it sounds ugly. And Benito, what the hell?
Every day I did a feedback thing being like, please revert me, every day. And then in a month, I got it back.
Well, it's interesting because Abner says the change was this is Ben Schoon, was widely hated by almost everyone who got it, including Benito. But it didn't show up for all users, and since they've reverted the design, but then they brought it back. Is it only on mobile, Benito, or is it on the desktop too?
For me, it was on the desktop only.
Yeesh. Let me just see if I play a video here. That was loud.
Jeez.
Sorry about that.
I don't like that.
That's Marquez Brownlee for you. No, it looks normal to me, right? But the title was going over here on the side.
No, you would have the title would be on the top right, and all the thumbnails of all the other videos would be underneath the video, and they'd be huge. Oh. And the description is on the right side.
Yeesh.
Yeah, it was ugly.
Yeesh. Take it back. And that's. Well, wait a minute. Let me see what Scooter X has to say. Scooter X, do we get everything?
I put a lot of his links in there.
Oh, that's why they're so good.
That's why, yeah.
Single line Google Messages text field redesign rolling out. Okay, so I think then we have everything, yes? Oh, here's one from Scooter X from Engadget. Google just snuck a pair of AR glasses into the... I didn't even notice this when they were demonstrating Project Astra. We saw this video, right, during Google I/O last week. Remember, she was zoomed by the glasses. Apparently, some sharp-eyed boffin right there really noticed some augmented reality glasses. Your glasses, remember they said, yeah, your glasses, we saw them on a desk near the Red Apple. Camera, I don't know what this is. We saw this at I/O, but they're not launching it. So there. So don't get your hopes up. And that's the Google changelog. Wow, that was a good one.
It was a good changelog.
That was full of stuff.
So breaking in the Washington Post, Natasha Tiku reporting that OpenAI didn't copy Scarlett Johansson's voice.
I knew they didn't. They copied Rashida Jones' voice.
No, they hired an actress.
Well, that's what they've been saying all along. Have they revealed the name of the actress, which has certainly helped their case?
They didn't. They say that they didn't ever say Sky or Scarlett Johansson is said actress, but funny, she sounded so familiar.
Yeah. Well, it's not an uncommon. Let's face it.
No.
Another OpenAI story just broke. Kelsey Piper, who's done incredible work here. Incredible reporter, Kelsey. She reported the original NDA story, the one where if you break the NDA, you lose all your vested equity.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, after Sam Altman was like, oh, yeah, it was just some unfortunate old document.
Oversight.
Yeah, it's not like that. Yeah, absolutely not. Complete nonsense. Kelsey's got the receipts signed by Sam Altman.
Whoops.
He's such a little shit.
Which
really
would be,
is. He's just
which would be the
goddamn
title of
sorry
this
for
show
swearing.
if I could get it through the censors.
Sam Altman freed, call it that.
OpenAI has done a deal with News Corp. You told me about this just before the show started, Jeff, to value a content deal valued at over $250 million. This follows on their deal with Reddit. They are ingesting...
Originally broken by The Information, my colleague Sahil Patel.
This was. I think I put the information into the rundown. Yeah, and so it's $50 million over 5 years. And what I hate about this, besides Rupert Murdoch getting any money, is that it's the big old guys grabbing their buckets of money, leaving out all the rest of news, screw them all. What should be happening is that the news industry should come together, create a news API, sell it together to the AI companies. You know, here's the condition for getting the key. Here's the money you got to pay us, and here's the credit you got to give us. But no, the rich get richer.
Yeah. Same deal with the Reddit deals.
Yeah.
Millions of unpaid contributors who ended up making Steve, what's his name, $100-something million. Disgusting, huffing fartman, piece of crap. Hey, isn't it funny how Alexis Ohanian got away with everything?
Yeah, well, he married Serena, that's why.
No, but also he got the nice guy in tech thing despite the fact that he oversaw Reddit during its arguably its worst years, then left someone so much worse than him in power. Hey, didn't he promise he was going to give his board seat to a person of color? Whatever happened to that, Alexis? See, it's very easy. I remember stuff. I'm like Pepperidge Farms, except nastier.
Pepperidge Fury.
Pepperidge Harms.
Pepperidge Harms.
Truecaller is partnering with Microsoft. Truecaller is actually a pretty good app that helps you kind of fend off the robocallers.
I like Truecaller.
They're a Swedish company, so they're okay. They're partnering with Microsoft to let AI respond to calls in your own voice. Except for Scarlett Johansson, you can't. You're not allowed.
It'd be the funniest thing for Scarlett Johansson to do right now.
Yeah, exactly.
The funniest thing would be to get an equity stake in that company.
They're going to use Microsoft's personal voice, which is a technology they introduced in November as part of Azure AI Speech. You have to be a paid user of Truecaller, but you'll be able to replicate users' voices, your voice only, of course, in order to greet and respond to callers. Although, if you were good with editing, you maybe could take Scarlett Johansson, edit up something, and make it sound, train it with that. This is in addition to the preset system-generated voice options. This is a program you can use to answer phone calls, screen unknown calls, take messages, respond on your behalf. Anybody use it? Now I'm tempted to sign up. Hi, this is Leo. I am not home right now. Please leave me a message. You can put it on your iOS, Android, or I don't know what this is. Yeah, Android. Huh.
Did you forget what the Google operating system was?
Fuchsia? Android? What? The Google operating system.
I thought you forgot what the word for Android was for a second. Pardon me.
Oh, I know. Oh no, it was a weird
operating system.
I did not forget Android. It was a weird icon that just said APK, which I interpreted then to be that was just like a side load to the Google Android operating system. I do not forget Android. I forget many things, including the name of the Kardashians.
Leo probably has like 3 to 12 Android phones on his person right now.
I do have.
Yeah.
Actually, I was very tempted. I was very disappointed, in fact, that I couldn't buy this in the United States. Maybe, Ed, with your accent, you could buy it. You could fool them. There was a good article on somewhere about a new operating system, de-Googled Android operating system called, I've forgotten the name. And unfortunately,
who wants that?
Well, everybody does. Everybody.
Then buy an Apple.
No, you don't. That's not any better. That's even worse.
Is this E/OS?
Yes, EOS. Thank you.
That's also the name of a chapstick.
EOS?
It's also the name of a cryptocurrency.
Yes.
Well, in any event, Fairphone sells phones with EOS pre-installed. Unfortunately, I can't put it on my Pixel 8. It only works on older phones. But I'm very intrigued. I tried to buy a Fairphone, but for some reason, this is Dutch. I'm trying to get it in English.
Oh.
Unfair.
It's unfair. They won't sell it to me. In fact, maybe they won't even put it in English. I don't know. Yeah, I don't even see English as an option.
English is an option, language-wise.
Where?
It's the second one under language.
Maybe I'm doing
Change is in your hands.
English
smartphones
US
and accessories that benefit the planet.
Yeah. Well, I tried to buy it, but I couldn't because US was not in the thing. But I'm interested in this EOS. The idea is they've found it based on Lineage OS, which is a de-Googled, Android is open source, so it's AOSP, and but it's completely de-Googled. But then people don't really want to completely de-Google it. They want to be able to install apps and so forth, and these Google services are often required. So EOS solves that by providing kind of open source, non-Google versions of those services, I gather. That was a long way to nowhere. I'm sorry. All right, let's take a break and we can do picks of the week if you want. All right, I like to do this. If Jeff or Paris or Ed, you have a story that I have missed in our multifarious rundown, you can submit it. I did want to mention Gordon Bell's passing, actually. He was kind of legendary computer scientist. He, the Times giving him credit as a creator of the personal computer, but that would be back in 1965. It really was a mini computer. He was at Digital Equipment Company. He designed many computers for them. Later went to Microsoft, senior technical fellow at the research lab there for many years. He also founded the Computer Museum, which is just down the road, a piece here, a really great computer museum with his wife, Gwen Bell.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah. Gwen got severe Alzheimer's, and it was very hard for him. But it did inspire him to create. Do you remember this, Jeff? He would wear a camera around his neck to record everything that happened to him because he realized memory, was such an important part. And I don't know if he wanted to do it to help Gwen or just because he was interested in it. He called it My Life Bits, a database to capture all of his life's information, articles, books, CDs, letters, emails, in a cloud-based digital database. This is in 1995. See, now it'd be easy to do that with AI and recall. He passed away this past week, I think at the age of 90.
85.
85?
90, oh.
Well, he was born, it said, let's see, he was 89, I'm sorry, 89.
89, oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. He was born a year after my mom was born. That's how I do the math, 1934. There he is in 1960, looking like a good computer scientist.
See, he's old enough to have watched Dobie kill us.
Yeah.
I feel like computer scientists used to look cooler somehow.
Well, he
like
was
they all
cool.
look like government agents.
Yeah. He was cool. I interviewed him a couple of times. Really neat guy, and one of the real pioneers of the world we currently inhabit, including with this My Memory Bits thing, which I thought was very interesting. Anything, Jeff? Paris, Ed, did I leave out anything?
No, I think we've covered all the world's news.
Thank goodness. Thank
Just
goodness.
please read my Facebook post because I ended up writing this Facebook post. It took me hours and hours and days and days and days. Then I dashed out this Sam Altman piece yesterday. It took me 55 minutes and it's trafficked significantly better. I want to die.
You
How do
mean
I add you?
You mean a blog post that you wrote about Facebook, not a post on Facebook.
You were on Facebook.
What's your Facebook? Oh, I was going to say, what's your Facebook handle so I can follow you, Ed?
There we go.
No, you didn't mean that, did you? You
Didn't mean it like that.
No.
No, it's just, where's your ed.at? Go look at the Facebook post, click it, share it, subscribe. I need the number to go up for no reason, which is ironic.
If you go to
number to go
betteroffline.com
up.
and click the newsletter link, you can also find it there.
Yes.
This is the People Deliberately Killing Facebook, that one?
That's right. And there's a podcast about it too that went out today. It's part of a two-parter. Second part on Friday.
Who are the people deliberately trying to kill Facebook? Is that too much to ask?
No, of course I could tell you. It's Mark Zuckerberg, Javier Olivan, Alex Schultz, Andrew Bosworth, Naomi Gleit, Ad Mosseri, and Joel Kaplan.
So is this a series? Who's killing each company? Are you going to,
it wasn't planned like that, but it will inevitably come down to that. If I ever get like an angle on Sam Altman, I will have some fun with that. But I honestly don't think it's out there. I don't think I'm going to be the guy who breaks this. Kelsey Piper will probably get it. She's great.
I think there's a good case to be made that he's actually not human, that he's like some sort of alien.
No, I think he's a regular San Francisco guy.
Really? Like one of the norms, huh?
Just a regular boring asshole. Like really, just another Stanford dropout. No, that's the thing. He's deeply unexceptional. And it's like there are weird founders that have existed, weird freaky guys, but he's just another like boring white asshole, like just whopping around the valley doing nothing and stealing from other people.
The banality of Sam.
I have to say, I've fallen for this before. I thought Elon Musk was like, amazing.
He's also mediocre.
But he's not.
Yeah.
He's just mediocre.
He's
when
worse than mediocre.
Emperor's New Clothes, when he bought Twitter, unfortunately, we got to see it all. And he was like not good. And I'm afraid that this is often the case. We want somebody to be a genius and great.
It's
Edison
easy.
wasn't. Ford wasn't.
Great men are rarely ever actually great. It's just the
Are there great
mythology.
women?
I mean,
either Mother
I feel like
Teresa
great-
had some
I feel like
scandals in her background.
the idea of a great, larger-than-life figure that is better than all the rest through their singularity and their singular wisdom or brilliance is just, you're setting yourself up to be disappointed.
Steve Martin is a great man, and I will hear no.
Yeah. Okay.
I will hear no disagreement on that matter.
Okay.
All right, let's take a little break. Fred Rogers. Fred Rogers was a great man. Great man. Little weird. Maintained his weight exactly 143 pounds for his entire life because the words "I love you" were 1, 4, and 3 characters respectively.
Oh, that's weird.
He did it though. He through his entire adulthood, exactly 143 pounds.
Now I don't know.
Yeah, now I'm wondering. I interviewed him too. He was very sweet. He was wearing a sweater, a cardigan, like he wears on the show. He said, "Yeah, my mother knit all my cardigans." Oh, there he is flipping off people. Well, I don't think that's real. That's AI. That's wrong. Yeah. That's not true. Patrick,
I think if he is flipping off people, that's really cool and good for him.
Do you think he's showing the children what the bird is?
Yeah, I think the bird is the word, and children need to learn how to read.
He would do that.
I bet you it's something super wholesome that we have no context for.
He's counting.
This is how you hold a pretzel.
He's helping someone count.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, just before we get to our picks of the week, which are just around the corner, I would like to invite you to join our club. It is a wonderful place to be with very smart, interesting people who talk about all the things that we are talking about on this show and a lot more. It's just $7 a month. With it, you get ad-free versions of everything. No ads, nothing. Plus video for a number of shows that we only put out in audio, like Hands on Macintosh, Hands on Windows, the Untitled Linux Show, Home Theater Geeks. So you get video with those shows as a club member. You also get access to the Club Twit Discord, which is where all those really neat people hang out and put pictures of Fred Rogers flipping off children. You also, well, it's more than that, believe me. You also get some events. For instance, we've got Stacy's Book Club coming up in about a month. We're going to do the book High Voltage by Chris and Jen Sugden. The
great Electric Six song.
High Voltage.
Yes, classic.
Also, Apple's WWDC keynote, where AI will once again take the stage. June 10th. That'll be a lot of fun. And we do iOS Today every other Tuesday in the club. $7 a month. That's all. And boy, the most important thing is it finances the operation here, and we need to do that. Frankly, we have coming up on our third quarter with a severe shortfall, and that's not good. So help us out,
people. Not good, friends. Please,
help us out.
Please help us. Really, seriously,
help us out. It doesn't go into my pocket.
Seriously, if just like 3 to 5% of you guys decide,
I love it when they do
subscribe,
that. It's like
that would be it.
If all of you sent me $20.
Well, honestly, if all of you sent me $1.50, I'd be rich. But that's not going to happen. I know. But if you can, please, we'd love to have you. twit.tv/clubtwit for more information. Paris Martineau, what's up in your world? Something exciting?
What's up in my world for the pick of the week is I had great plans last week when I wasn't going to be hosting this show. I was like, man, a Wednesday night that I don't have to spend with my lovely friends, I'm going to do wonderful things.
With my
Instead,
grandpa?
I ended up being sick for like 5 days.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And was miserable. But the one good thing that came of it is eventually I was like, all right, I'm just going to try and play some games that have been on my Steam wish list.
Excuse me for interrupting.
Played this game that recently came out called Let Bygones Be Bygones. And I really recommend it. It is like a new indie detective RPG. You play as this detective John Cooper, and you're kind of wandering through this pixelated, strange
this is the same game as Pentiment, but it's just it's just modern, right? That's basically the
kind of. It's like you are a detective who's got to find this missing girl from the upper city, and it's fully voiced. It's a really quick playthrough. It was just a delightful little time.
It looks like it
and
came
all
out
the choices matter
in the 90s, but it's really brand new, which is fascinating.
Yeah.
Let bygones, not lions, not bygones. Let bygones be bygones.
Yeah.
Hey, Paris, have you played Disco Elysium?
Disco Elysium.
I played Disco Elysium on Switch, but you could play it wherever you get games from. You can play it on
Paris,
Steam.
you play Hades 2?
Oh, Hades is too much.
Early access.
I don't like Hades. That's too much.
It's so good. It's so banging.
Not finished yet.
Hey, Benito,
no wonder you're so
did you
angry.
kill Kronos yet?
Have you killed Kronos?
Listen, I haven't played. I wait for the games to come out.
But Hades 1
out.
you played. Hades 1 you
played. Hades 1, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hundreds of hours.
It's just
I
a
wish
lot of
I had
button
the skills to
smashing from my point of
play
view.
a button smashing game,
Yeah.
but I can't.
You're not
It's
button
just-
smashing. That's the whole point.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have reflexes.
Disco Elysium looks really interesting. This is very...
No, Disco
That is a game
Elysium,
that-
if I haven't talked about this is the best game that has ever happened.
I've really tried, and I just can't.
Oh my God, Ed, that hurts me.
I can't. It made me think of Planescape Torment, and I like that game. But it was so good, but I couldn't.
Where do you guys find all this time?
Wait, Planescape Torment came out in the 90s, so
yeah, like
I mean, it's what I do when I get off work. I, you
play
know,
games.
relax. I read
Okay.
a little game. I play a little game, and all my games are books, technically. So Disco Elysium is a book where literally you
Redefined
wake
literacy.
up as a fat, fully naked detective who's drunk
That's a
and
little
passed
too
out
close
on
to
the
games
real
for
floor
life.
of a
escapism.
Yeah,
trash
exactly.
hotel room, and you remember nothing about what you've done, and you've got to
Okay.
figure out how to solve a murder.
okay.
It's lovely.
I'm gonna get it. It's on the Switch, huh?
It is one of the most. It is the most brilliantly written game I've ever experienced.
I'm
It's all
definitely
fully
gonna get it.
voiced too. You have to as you are figuring out this mystery, all of the dialogue is like the dialogue between you and the people, of course. But then your thoughts interject. So you'll have anger or electrochemistry or a force that is like the dreaming world intercede in there, and it's also kind of dice based, so you'll try to make a persuasion check or something, and depending on how what choices you've made,
so it's
you'll do
like
better or
Baldur's
worse.
Gate.
It's kind of like that, but there's no fighting
without the combat.
Yeah.
Benito, did you play it on PC or
I played it on PC.
PC?
Yeah.
Do you think the Switch would be okay?
It'd be okay. The loading time is really long on Switch.
All right.
I didn't really notice it being that long.
Because
I
you
mean,
didn't play it on
I guess
PC.
there's yeah, that's true.
All right.
I've got a Steam Deck. That thing's magical.
I've got a Steam Deck and it rules.
It's so good. It's one of the only gadgets I've got in the last few years that I really like. This feels good. This feels like the future is here. It's a gaming PC that's like a Nintendo Switch. It works really well. It looks good. It's a bit heavy and a bit big, but it's not. It's very much like a first generation product, but it's really good. It's not
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I love it. It's literally a computer. I was trying to play. I mean, I played Let Bygones Be Bygones, but it's basically a PC game, and because it was a really interesting experience because normally I play games that have been popular and out for a while, so people already have online guides and everything. But for this, I needed to basically create my own controller using the Steam Deck to make it work on the Steam Deck like it would with a PC, and it took me 5 minutes, and then I was able to use it like I would.
When did they come out with an OLED? I didn't realize they had an OLED version.
That's pretty recent.
Yeah, they
I
just
believe in
did
the last year. Yeah.
couple months ago. Yeah.
That sounds like I bought the LCD and I'm it's too small a screen for me. I want to play PC games on a PC, but the OLED might be nice.
I mean, I think it's the same size screen. It's just brighter.
Yeah, it's a better screen. Yeah. Actually, you could make your pick, Ed, be the Steam Deck if you'd prefer. You don't have to come up with one. Yeah. You
Hades 2. It really is Hades 2.
Hades 2.
I love Hades 2, don't we, folks?
Just came out, right?
Yeah, it's $30 in early access. It has more stuff in it right now than the original Hades had in total. It's so good. It is so creative. It's beautiful. It looks great. It sounds great. The systems are really fun and interesting. The second boss is a siren metal band, and both songs are legitimate bangers. Like, they're actually very good metal. One of them has blast beats in it. It's like a genuinely good metal, but they're like melodic metal. It's absolutely brilliant. The whole thing, it can be a bit frustrating because they're still tweaking some bits, but my God, $30. I've got so much. Actually, I've got another pick, Diablo 4. So Diablo 4,
very similar, another
seasons,
button masher.
I don't know how. I don't think you've played these games. If you mash the buttons, you will just do nothing. Like, nothing will happen. You'll blow all your cooldowns, then die. But Diablo 4 came out and was pretty bad. It just kind of sucked. The first 3 seasons seemed to get worse with each season. But then season 4, someone clearly went, "What if this game was fun?" So they tweaked a lot of the systems.
They really did a lot of loot boxing on this initially. It was really
well. They did some loot boxing, but the problem was it had all these really arbitrary systems that to move. Like, Diablo's all about loot, and it made the loot not fun. So it was just horrible. But then season 4 is really good. Like, it's really I'm having a blast because I've kind of blown through everything with Hades.
I'll have to try season 4.
Yeah, that's the problem with playing early access. Now, when Hades 2 comes out for full, are you going to play it?
Yes, I've beaten Hades, the original, maybe 100 times. Like, I've put hundreds of hours.
I was going to say, beating it involves beating it again and again.
Yes,
and again.
The whole thing. But also,
you die every time you die.
It's very frustrating. It's so good. It's so good. No. And the story's great. Oh, the whole thing's so good. It's just, I realize I'm quite negative on a lot of tech stuff, but there are some really magical things. And it rocks to see Supergiant still making great things. And it actually kind of rocks to watch Blizzard fix Diablo 4, which is also something that happened with Diablo 3. Diablo 3 had to pretty much recreate itself because it was so bad. And it's I don't know. Hades 2, even though it's early access, is worth every goddamn penny.
All right. There's a couple of picks for you. Jeff Jarvis, give us a number.
All right, I'll do this one. So United flight number, I don't know, 12 something. You hear all the time on the flight how they tell you that if your phone gets stuck in the seat,
yes, whatever you do,
seats,
don't try to
not move it. Don't try to get it out. Call for help.
Yes.
Well, a United flight from Zurich to Chicago was diverted to Shannon because a passenger's laptop got stuck in the business class seat. The fear, of course, is that the lithium-ion battery will go.
If it gets punctured, you've got a problem.
So they diverted to Shannon. They couldn't get to the seat. They had to come in through the underneath, through the luggage, the cargo hold, to try to get the laptop out. Whoa. They eventually had to cancel the flight because the crew timed out. Everybody got hotel rooms, and then they finally got on to their next destination. So, folks,
did the person get their laptop back?
It's a good question. I don't know that.
That's ridiculous. So it just because it got stuck, they landed the plane. It wasn't like it was.
I would be mad.
I'd be so pissed off at that guy. They were unable to retrieve the laptop, so they contacted air traffic controllers to divert and have this device safely retrieved. Oh, come on. Talk about moral panic.
Well, if you scroll down, you see the power bank fire on China Southern Flight CZ3539.
Someone plug in that Galaxy Note 7.
It's just a matter of time before they ban these things, and that will really make flying awful.
Oh, God.
What if you couldn't bring your Steam Deck or your Switch? Oh, that's
what
not
the hell
good.
am I meant to do? Read a book? Absolutely not.
No way.
Oh, my God. Not someone throwing water on it.
I can't believe they're putting water on it. It actually worked, though, didn't it?
I think that was orange juice they threw on it next.
Oh, yeah, there's orange juice. Oh. There's a whole bottle just thrown.
I'm shocked that they're staying in the plane. Oh, yeah, the orange juice was helping.
Damn, they are going at that thing.
I would be like, you don't pay me enough. I'm getting off the plane. This isn't worth my life.
This was 6 years ago. This is a long time ago. That's the problem with lithium-ion batteries. Of course, you can't put them out with water.
I'm having a brain fart. When was it that we were not going to be allowed to have? Was it because of a terrorist thing? We weren't allowed to have computers on the planes. Remember that whole time?
Oh, briefly they talked about that, but that didn't last.
Wasn't that the Galaxy Note 7
I can't remember
thing?
the reason.
Maybe it was
I
the
thought
Note
it was
7.
the Galaxy Note 7. Yeah. Dan Ninen. Very unfunny, man.
A fan of this show. I'm sorry, Dan. I don't like him either. We'll get rid of him. Don't.
He hates everybody.
I'm gonna hear from Dan. Was he involved in the Galaxy Note 7?
No, he just has a joke where it's like, oh, something blew up. Guess someone had a Galaxy Note 7. It's like a classic Dan Ninen bit. I do not know any other bits from him other than like the sushi 7-Eleven thing, which I don't really want to say out loud, which isn't great. But the Samsung Galaxy Note 7 is like a classic Ninen bit. The real Ninen heads know.
Okay. Hey, Ed, it's been great having you on. I appreciate
My
it.
pleasure.
You're quite a find. Thank you, Paris. And we will have him back soon, I hope. Well, it depends how the email goes. Ed Zitron, you can follow his podcast
reviews
at betteroffline.com. And, of course, if you go there, there's a link to his newsletter. Read his Facebook piece, or he's going to kill your dog.
I'm not going to kill your dog. That's not true.
Not true. In case
you will
you
just
didn't
break
know.
my heart.
It's my hallucination.
Right now.
Will not kill your. That's what it has on my business cards. I will not kill your dog.
Oh, let me see if I can get that.com.
My I will not kill your dog business card is inviting a lot of questions that are answered.
Handing
by
that to
business
people in
card.
meetings.
I wasn't thinking
It's
you
fine.
would, but now I'm suspicious.
I just really wanted you to know.
A lot of people have been asking. Can we get that URL?
Paris Martineau is at martineau.01, Martineau, spelled in the French style, .01, on
Like
Signal.
Léo Laporte.
Like Léo Laporte. Give her your tips. Follow her
And
on
I
the
actually have a
information.
call out this week. If you are and I fear to say this because I think this is a target audience for this. If you are if you're a prominent voice in the open source community,
Oh, baby.
yell at me. I want to talk to you. I'm doing a story vaguely about the open source community, and I've got to ask some people some questions. So
I'm sure you are hitting a nail on the head here. Quite a few.
you are.
Yes.
Quite a few.
Talk to Dave Weiner.
Do you want to blow the lid off open source or what?
no,
your
we
angle?
can talk about it after the show.
What's your angle,
it's
man?
something relating to the Linux Foundation.
Oh,
It's
that's
Inside baseball kind of thing.
inside baseball stuff.
Thank you, Paris. Thank you,
Thank
Jeff
you.
Jarvis. Jeff is the Director Emeritus of the Townite Center for Entrepreneurial Journalism at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. When can we throw this card out?
Whatever you want. You're the boss.
Well, no,
This is
but
not
I
democracy.
want to give you something. I could always say go to gutenbergparenthesis.com. That's probably the best
Do
thing
that.
to do. Yeah.
Yes.
Just want to give you something. And I like playing
We want to
Craig
have the
Newmark.
Craig song.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's true.
Will you be involved with Craig Newmark at your new posting?
I don't know yet.
Craig?
Yeah, when are you going to release your news?
Craig?
Well, I got to have news first.
If you want the song, you got to fund the organization.
No, don't
I'm
do
just
that.
saying.
Don't do that.
You got to
Don't do
fund
that.
Jeff personally.
Yeah.
Don't do that, Craig's a
There
friend,
could
not
be
a
a
friend.
chair in Craig's name, and then we'd keep playing the music. I'm just saying. We do This Week in Google every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2100 UTC. You can watch us live if you want. That way you'll get to hear all the swear words in their natural habitat at youtube.com/twit/live. After the fact, the Bowdlerized, expurgated versions are available on the website, twit.tv/twig. There is a YouTube channel. Do we bleep the YouTube content? Yeah, we do. There's a YouTube channel with the video dedicated to This Week in Google. You can also subscribe in your favorite podcast player. That way you'll get what? Automatically the minute
I'll wait till you
it's
to end it.
available. Thank you for being here, everybody. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next time on This Week in Google. Bye-bye.